Announce Daniel A. Moore's upcoming painting, Deuces Wild. This season, Bama is blessed with a pair of very talented deuces. The pair played a huge role on both sides of the ball in the Tide's amazing 41-34 victory over number 2 Georgia. Deuces Wild will portray the unbelievable game-winning 75-yard touchdown catch by deuce number 1, Ryan Williams, late in the fourth quarter. The Dogs' last chance drive was stopped by deuce number 2, Xavier Brown, as he made the game-saving interception in the end zone, which will be celebrated by a small artist's remark in the bottom margin of each print. Go to danielmooreart.com to see the artist's preliminary sketch and take advantage of special pre-publication pricing for Deuces Wild. Also available, The Legend, Daniel Moore's final tribute to Coach Nick Saban. Order now at danielmooreart.com.
Our friends at Milo's Hamburger invites you to join them in the fight against hunger in our local communities by bringing non-perishable food items to your local Milo's, including canned goods. When you donate a canned good or any non-perishable food item, Milo's will give you a free drink. Together, we can make a difference.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com. Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Live show now. We'll get to all the college football, Alabama's big win at LSU. We will get to all the basketball, the off-the-court stuff at Florida, the on-the-plane stuff at Auburn, and then Auburn's massive win in Houston. We'll get to that. Bama basketball in action tonight. We'll talk about something else. But first of all, our Salute to Service show here on Veterans Day. Thank you, everyone, for your service, both current military personnel and veterans of the United States military. Thank you so much. Your service is our freedom, and we appreciate you guys so much. We've all got our Salute to Service gear on here, the Dolphins and the Rams versions, and our Next Round version available in our nextround.store. These guys have Dolphins and Rams gear on because of Monday Night Football.
That's right. Big Veterans Day matchup Monday night. Hopefully the Dolphins salute service well.
Look, it's an interesting matchup. Yeah. It opened at the Rams -1.5. It went down to 1. Now it's the Rams -2.5. Rams have won 3 consecutive games. Dolphins back fully healthy with Tua. Should be a fun game.
I do like that on election years, Veterans Day falls shortly after the election, because I think never are we more reminded the importance of the United States veteran than when we freely go to the polls and vote for whoever the crap we want to.
Yep.
Write in a name, vote for whoever's on there, whatever you want to do, and nobody stands over you with a gun and makes you do it one way or the other. That's when you should respect your veteran more than any other time in your life as an American. So I like it when it's on an election year, because we quickly get that reminder that that's who gave you that opportunity.
And hopefully a little uniting forces afterwards, after an election. Anytime, no matter how it turns out, you can look at our military personnel made up of all races and creeds, how they go fight for freedom around the world. And we appreciate them so much today, including my brother Mike, who's hopefully tuned in at some point.
I like that photo you sent out. Good looking guy, dude, in that marine blue.
Yeah, looks a lot like me, right?
I didn't see it. I need to pull this because I've never seen your brother.
Yeah, he's the man of the family.
Yeah, no, it's a good. That marine uniform. That's just we talk about.
There he is.
Look at that. That's a good photo, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's 18 right out of what's the island?
Paris Island.
Paris Island.
Yeah, my cousin went to Paris Island. Yeah. He told some stories, buddy.
Yeah, there he is. There's Mike right there.
Look at that. That's a good photo.
Hard to believe we're from the same genes.
I agree. We talk a lot about like college uniforms, like who's a good uniform. It is hard to beat that dress marine uniform right there, buddy. That is a good look.
Yeah. All right. Let's get to what everyone's talking about in the chat room. That's Alabama's trip down to LSU. We'll get rolling today with best and worst of the weekend. Brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill Services. They bring you all the great stuff there too, LT.
Yeah, 205-229-2090. Whether you experience any plumbing, heating, or cooling issues in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. Supposed to dip down into the 40s this week. So people are going to be running that heat. You need to make sure it is ready to keep up with this changing weather. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. Hard to stop a train. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
Okay, so now I ask you the first question. After watching Jalen Milroe Saturday night in Baton Rouge and watching Jalen Milroe in games in October, does anyone still think Jalen Milroe was not hurt?
It's hard to say that there was something not bothering him physically, because there's no way, and I don't care, the theory out there that, certain people had told Jalen Milroe, you need to prove that you can really, play in the pocket, that you're more of a quarterback that can throw downfield. You don't need to be running all over the place. Nick Sheridan, Kalen DeBoer, look, you play to your strength. You play to what makes Alabama the best. There had to have been something going on back then. There's no other way to explain it, because when Milroe is playing like he played Saturday, they could be the best team in college football.
I think they are. With the combo of the way the defense has played the last two games, that team Saturday night is the best team in college football. Now, can Alabama keep that team on the field for 4, 5, 6 more games, whatever it takes? I don't know. Nobody in college football has been that consistent this year. Nobody, not just saying Alabama, nobody in college football has consistently done that. But that team that played Saturday night, to me, is the best team in college football. We saw it for a half against Georgia. We saw it for 4 quarters on the road at LSU.
Can I just factor in a little bit that LSU may just be
I don't think
a
they're
mediocre
great.
team?
No, I don't think they're great.
But
and that Georgia may not be as great as we thought they were, but who is good?
That's right.
Who is
at this point? I don't know.
I mean, I think LSU's still a top 25 team. I don't know how good they are, but still, Alabama ran them off their own field.
That's right.
They did.
I mean, it was complete domination. So you can say what you want about LSU. LSU had a 10-point lead on a solid Texas A&M team. That's what I think. I think LSU is solid. Alabama, when they play kind of down to their competition, when Jalen Milroe is not doing Milroe things with his legs, Alabama's not a great team. But when they are, I agree with Brown. I think it probably is the best team in all of college football.
And I'll just say, I think you've got to give credit to Kalen DeBoer and Nick Sheridan for saying, hey, we saw the Texas A&M tape too. Like, everybody saw what LSU and Texas A&M did in the second half. We saw it. But they didn't overthink it. They're like, we're going to see if y'all fixed anything in 2 weeks. And spoiler alert, they did not.
Yeah.
And I credit them for that, for not overthinking and not be like, oh, well, LSU knows they can't stop a running quarterback, so they're going to try to take that away from us. Let's do this. No. And Kalen DeBoer even said it pregame to Holly Rowe. He's like, we're going to run Jalen Milroe some here. Basically, he was saying, we're going to see if they fixed anything in 2 weeks. And LSU had not.
They did it a little differently, by the way, than Texas A&M did. They did it between the tackles with the fake to the running back. And then basically, as Luganville explained on Monday Morning Live, the running back after the fake becomes the fullback in the old school football, and then Milroe just followed him in the hole.
Right.
A couple of the long runs were between the tackles. The 39 and the 72s were you're just following that fake to the halfback, and then you follow him through the hole, and it's off to the races. Impressive game plan. And the defense, I'm critical on scheme and whatever, but they heated up Nussmeier, and they made big plays. I thought LSU's best chance of winning the football game was after it was their first chance to get momentum.
Yep.
After the stop on 4th down, the very next play, they rolled Nussmeier near side, and Jahad Campbell had forced him out of the pocket, and he does the strip sack, and then Alabama goes on and scores a touchdown.
Yeah, game over.
And it was game over at that point. And then later on, when they make it a game again, they're back on the 5. That opening drive, after Alabama scored, big kick return, they go to the 5, and Alabama holds them to a field goal. Another chance, strip sack. Another chance maybe to get back into the game. They're down to the 5 again. Hold them, and then Deontay Lawson with an interception.
Tremendous play, by the way.
Because he fought off the pick. It was absolutely a pick play there.
And I think, in a little bit of it, Nussmeier thought there was no way he was going to come off and go to the other receiver. Nussmeier, and Herbstreit even said, like, man, you look at that and you think this is a wide open touchdown.
Yeah, because he's going to be picked. He's getting picked out of the play. He fights through that, and he jumps right in there.
Right in the passing lane.
And just to catch it. I mean, that ball's thrown so hard.
Yeah.
And it was like he had glue on his gloves.
Now, I think Nussmeier he's got some issues right now. now as far as turning the football over. 6 turnovers now in the last 2 games. I think his confidence is kind of shot. I don't know where LSU goes with 3 losses. I'm sure LSU fans are really disappointed in year 3 under Brian Kelly. But back to the Milroe situation. Coming into this game, I thought it was really important coming off a bye that Kalen DeBoer, I believe this team was going to be better. And I thought they were coming in with a lot of momentum against Missouri. And then I heard some rumblings, and you guys probably heard the same, that everything didn't seem great this week in Tuscaloosa.
I couldn't tell it.
Yeah, and I ended up like an hour before the game on our DraftKings benched Milroe.
Oh, no, you didn't.
Oh, yeah, I did.
I did the same thing.
Oh, no. Did y'all play Ty Simpson or y'all just went elsewhere?
No, I didn't. But
I played the quarterback from TCU.
Could you have used 4 touchdowns?
Oh, yeah.
Would that have helped
Could
you?
have used 185 yards rushing?
Could you have? Yeah, okay.
Absolutely. So, I don't know if there's anything internally going on. As you said, Brown, it doesn't look like it.
It sure didn't look like it.
That was the most complete performance I have seen Alabama all year long.
Yeah. Kalen DeBoer afterwards, Emily Grace and I were down there covering the game for the next round. It's my favorite road trip to go to. Afterwards, Kalen DeBoer talked about what Jalen Milroe is able to do to LSU. If you're scoring at home in 2 games as the starter, he has rushed for 352 yards and 8 touchdowns. Here's Kalen DeBoer.
Well, I think there's a lot of other guys that helped him, get to those spots where we're ahead of the chains. A lot of smaller gains that get you into positions where your whole playbook's available to you. And obviously he's got a superpower when it comes to running the football. You can see him not just be a guy that gets first downs, but finishes in the end zone. And so him doing what he did early on, just really got kind of the ball rolling there and, made the throws that were timely when needed. And, other guys continue to step up. Again, when we stay ahead of the chains and the whole playbook's available, a lot we can do.
And that was another thing, guys. Credit to Nick Sheridan because, they did rush for 185 yards with Milroe, but they ended up with 311 as a team. And they were not big plays, but he continued to run jam and justice, for 3 yards, 4 yards. And I think those are important too, Brandy, to continue not to make it a pass fest as they sometimes have this year.
Well, and also the extended runs of the pass out of the backfield. They tore LSU up in the first half, throwing the ball to the backs out of the backfield. And, those are just like run plays. You're getting your back out into open space, and you've got a quarterback that can deliver it to him in the right spot so he can catch it on the move. Those were huge for Alabama when that was still a ball game, is getting Justice Haynes and Jam Miller involved in the passing game.
Well, and I think moving forward, what this does, and you talked about between the tackles, is where he was getting his yards. I think this opens up. Now, when you actually hand the ball to Jam or Justice, it's really going to open things up for them against these defenses they'll see coming up. And that's another thing that you got to look at, man. Alabama is not going to be really facing any competition until the playoffs.
Oklahoma's defense could be challenging. Auburn's a rivalry game. Mercer's a good FCS team. But those are 3 wins or should be wins for Alabama that should get them into the playoffs.
Yeah.
We'll talk about the playoff scenarios in the SEC championship, which is still in play for Alabama.
If I would have told you that Jeremy Bernard and Ryan Williams had 3 receptions combined for 28 yards.
Bad news.
On the road, there's no way they win this game, right?
I will tell you, the good news for LSU is that they only had 3 receptions because the overthrows on the wide open receivers, this could have easily been a 60 spot from Alabama. Here's Jalen Milroe.
Kalen called your running ability a superpower. Is there, when you're clicking like that, is there a feeling of almost invincibility when you're out there?
Yeah, going into this week, Coach Sheridan was definitely coached me hard this week, just pushing the pocket, attacking all areas of the game, whether it's passing game, run game, just being my best me and just doing what the play call asks of me. Just being a point guard with the football, whether distributing to our playmakers, using my legs, just doing what the defense gave. And so I think that was just evident to the performance today, which is just taking what the defense gave.
I've heard other people say, I think this offense will be better with Ty Simpson. I
don't know where that comes from.
I don't either, but that is Lamar Jackson. Look, he's got a lot that he has got to get better at, but just his pure ability and his speed is incredible. I don't know what he would be clocked at. I'm assuming around a 4.4.
Faster than anybody chasing him.
Yeah, but his football speed is next level.
Yeah, I will tell you, I was blessed to be sitting right next to the Lions and the Jaguar scouts.
Okay.
And after that first run where he hit high gear in traffic and cut back across the 39-yarder. I looked over at them, and they were like,
Yeah, I mean, that's the kind of stuff.
They weren't saying anything, but they were looking at each other. They were like,
whoa, yeah.
Like, really, one performance like that, like he dipped down to probably a second-round guy. Now he might be probably the second or third quarterback taken off the board. I mean, he's just got that raw talent that you can't coach. There's nothing you can do about it. When he's on, I mean, that guy, I don't know how you defend it.
Brad, when you got NFL scouts going.
Yeah, I know. More on this later. I'd take him over Carson.
Hey, and
I'd take him over Carson Beck right now.
He will go over Carson Beck. You brought up Nick Sheridan, and how cool was it to see Nick Sheridan come down from the booth on the sideline celebrating with the players? It kind of reminded you of Kane Womack, before the bye, calling the timeout, and they pitched the shutout, and how it kind of galvanized everybody on the sideline. It looked like a sideline that was in unity this week.
It did. Somebody texted me, it was like the most devastating thing is they keep showing the empty seats in Tiger Stadium. I was like, the most devastating thing is the shot of the empty coach's box. Oh. It has to be a blowout.
Yeah,
for the coaches
you don't
to
see
leave
that.
The box. I know. I was like, that is. If I'm an LSU fan, I do not want them to show that shot again of the Alabama's empty coaching box.
And I know where we originate from. The majority of our listeners, Alabama fans, but we need to take a look at the other side of this too, because LSU. Where do you go from here?
Yeah. We're getting to that. The show being brought to you by a couple of folks. But before we tell you about our great sponsors, including our friends at CPAP Plus, who brings you this sound from Tyler Booker postgame. Tyler Booker, who will be with us in the next segment, had this to say about the offensive performance.
Jalen was Jalen. He had a great performance. He ran the ball really well. He had great ball security, and it's just great blocking for that guy because I know that when I do my job, he's going to do his job, and great things happen when we both do our job.
Yeah, and no turnovers is the key there.
And no sacks. I mean, I know he only threw it 18 times, but still.
Yeah, and very few penalties. I mean, the very first penalty pre-snap, you thought to yourself, here we go. Crowd's into it. Tennessee again, get the ball and go in the wrong direction. But that very first third down throw to Ryan Williams, that was key.
That was huge, absolutely, to keep a drive going and not repeat the Tennessee deal. There was the one sack that got wiped by the face mask, which the crowd got pissed about when the replay clearly showed it was a face mask. I don't know how you get that.
And speaking of third downs, 10 of 13 on third downs.
That's pretty remarkable.
Being in the stadium, it may have been the way the referee threw the flag. Because he
came in pretty quick. It looked like on TV.
But he leaned really low to the ground as to not throw it and hit anybody in the eyes. And he sort of threw it
at the pile like that?
He threw it really low to the ground. He got really low and like he was sneaking it in there.
Yeah, Brown's right. He got the call right.
I mean, there's no way they missed the call. I know the crowd was pissed about it. It was a clear face mask.
Yeah, a lot of close calls went against LSU, but they were all correct.
Well, that one was for sure.
Yeah, but they were griping. CPAP Plus brings you part of the show here.
Yeah, if you're looking for the best CPAP gear with personal service you can trust, Google CPAP Plus. Visit one of those 3 convenient locations, Pelham, Highway 280, Trustful. For the next round viewer and listener, they've got something special, $20 credit towards the purchase of a new mask system, a CPAP cleaner, even a travel CPAP machine. Just mention the next round when you go see the O'Neill brothers, one of those 3 great locations. Stop by CPAP Plus, where you're going to find the best service and equipment, all in stock, ready for you, with hundreds of 5-star Google reviews. Trust CPAP Plus for all of your CPAP needs. CPAP Plus, where every night matters.
Riley says, my favorite part was the communication adjustment from Tennessee to LSU to avoid false starts on the road. That's you just heard from Tyler Booker. We'll talk to him in the next segment, but it was a crazy atmosphere to start with.
Well, to go to the leg lift, I mean, they learned their lesson in Knoxville is the quarterback clap is not going to work in loud environments. So they go to the leg lift, and it seemed to change everything. Now, you did have the immediate, and I thought, oh, my gosh, here goes Alabama again. Immediately a false start. I mean, you don't even I mean, they've almost barely finished the national anthem. You already got a false start. But beyond that, they cleaned up the pre-snap stuff really, really well there. And that had to be, we'll talk to Book about it in a moment, but that had to be part of it is they were far more comfortable with handling the noise than they were in Neyland.
Yeah, and for Alabama fans that have been critical of this staff, of some of the discipline issues, some of the penalties, going back to Vanderbilt and Tennessee, for the way they played, like whatever your thought on was Kalen DeBoer, you've got to be happy right now if you're an Alabama fan where this team is, at least in this moment. And, moving forward, would you guys say that, I mean, who do you favor to actually get to the SEC championship?
Oh, that's a big discussion, LT. Brownie may have to come in with a law degree to explain that to us. Who got ghosted this weekend? It's another defensive coordinator for Brian Kelly. He made a change in the offseason. He's throwing DCs under the bus, the whole coaching staff, in fact, post-game after the Alabama win over LSU. The segment brought to you by Ghost Energy, Ghost Hydration, authentic flavors, zero sugars, no BS. Look for Ghost Energy and Ghost Hydration at all retailers that sell energy and hydration drinks near you. Brian Kelly, cut number 4, Tyler, talking afterwards about the inability to stop Jalen Milroe on the quarterback run for the second week. BK, what the hell were you guys doing in practice?
Look, if you're watching the game, you're like, what did these guys do for 2 weeks? Like, we have a scheme to stop the quarterback. We did not get that done. So I take responsibility for it. Blake is not going to hide from the responsibility, but we also have to put our players in the right position too to take advantage of what they're capable of doing. So we own it together, and we've got to get it fixed, certainly, because it's been a couple of weeks now, in 2 games.
Rat-a-tat-tat on Blake Baker there. Hey,
what have we been doing?
When you're facing an opposing quarterback and they average over 15 yards a carry, and you have 12 carries, that's a problem.
Yeah, and that's when if I'm an LSU fan, I'm asking the exact question that Brian Kelly just asked. What'd you guys do for 2 weeks?
Can you guys tell me how good the 72-yard Jalen Milroe run was? Because 4K didn't come back in time. I just saw it, and I seriously, I'm watching the TV, and I see like this ant just – because I watched it, but I didn't get, I was watching it from afar.
No, the same thing happened in the South Carolina-Texas A&M game. They missed a touchdown because for whatever reason, 4K, when it goes to break, sometimes it doesn't come back. And it was one of those where I was sitting there, I was watching and I just had that feeling like, I feel like we've been in break long enough, and I look over and Alabama's kicking an extra point. Now I see it like from the space station, but I'm like, whoa, what just happened? So
how about when you go to break, just put the camera where the ball's spotted?
I don't know. The 4K thing confuses me because sometimes you get natural sounds. You get the crowd noise during break. Sometimes you get nothing.
Didn't get anything. Just saw the rain kind of pitter-pattering.
You can tell how hard it was raining,
Now there's the one thing I don't think you'll ever see in Alabama visiting Georgia again is the blackout jerseys. Alabama ended that. They'll wear the black jerseys against other teams. They'll never do it again when Alabama visits Athens. And at least listening to LSU fans as I was walking back to the truck, I don't know if we'll ever see a rent-a-tiger again in the history of LSU football.
Bad start.
Here it is. And now to fill everybody in on how this worked, it's in that cage there, much like the old cage they used to use. 100-year anniversary of Tiger Stadium. They're celebrating that with a video, and this was part of the celebration. It was on the field less than 5 minutes. It wasn't. The Alabama players never saw it. They were in the locker room. It wasn't parked traditionally like it used to be by the Alabama locker room. And then very quickly after they did the ceremony, it was backed up and pulled off the field, and then it was gone. Here's them pulling it off the field.
Bye-bye.
And it was there very quickly, and not really a whole big part of the celebration.
So hokey.
It really was.
So no poke. We didn't poke it with a stick and make it roar. We didn't do that anymore.
That's the LSU side of the field. It never left that little end zone. Didn't do a circle around the field.
No roar. Did you hear it?
Nope, couldn't hear it. It did get up and move a little bit, so it was alive.
Okay, that's good.
But no cheerleaders got on top like they used to. They never was parked outside of the Alabama locker room. It was a big nothing burger.
Yeah, it's almost like everybody involved is a little hesitant because they know some people are so against what they're doing right now, and they don't know whether or not to go all in. I'll tell you this, if you would have strapped a rump roast to the back of Jalen Milroe and they would have put that tiger on the field.
I got Milroe.
He wouldn't have caught him.
I got Milroe in that one. Do you how did the fans react? Did they cheer or anything?
It
seemed muted.
It was so juiced before that it didn't add anything to it. Yeah. Like they showed a video of the tradition of the tiger at the stadium.
Right.
And then, the lights are out while they're showing the video, and then they spotlight it. And there was a cheer, but no louder than when they played dum dum dum. Hold
the
that
stuff
tiger.
they always do. Yeah.
I mean, it was a big nothing. And then watching our buddy T-Bob and Tuscaloosa is Burning Moscato in their post-game, Whiskey and Wine.
I tried to find it. I couldn't find it.
Wow. It's something.
Where was it?
Oh, yeah.
T-Bob, who wasn't happy about the Tiger pre-game, was really, really not happy about the Tiger afterwards. It was
any F-bombs dropped?
Yeah.
I watched the first 5 minutes.
So people used to think I was a little wild in our post game.
Yeah. No.
Child's play compared to what T-Bob did.
He threw an F word that lasted at least 40 seconds.
Yeah.
He just screamed it.
Well, look, I mean, if I'm an LSU fan, I'm extremely pissed and concerned right now where this program is with Brian Kelly. You go back over the last 6 quarters, second half against Texas A&M, 4 quarters against Alabama. They've been outscored 73-19 in the last 6 quarters. And all of this equity that they had built up with the sun is set on Tiger Stadium, and I don't know what am I looking for here? The fear that like strikes in all these fan bases and opposing teams about playing Tiger Stadium at night. They lost a lot this past Saturday night on that.
It's never affected Alabama.
31-10-1, I believe. Saturday night games.
And that was Brian Kelly's first Saturday night loss. And I'm with Lance. If I'm an LSU fan, I'm paying this guy a lot of money. This guy came in with a lot of acclaim. I've gone to an SEC championship. I've had a Heisman Trophy winner.
It's gone backwards every year, though.
I've had a Heisman Trophy winner. I didn't get a whole lot to show for it other than that singular Heisman Trophy. And now I'm going to miss the playoffs again.
Yeah, like if you flip this, if they were 9-3 in year 1 and you had a Heisman Trophy winner in year 2, and then year 3 you go to Atlanta to play for the SEC championship, you're progressing.
Yeah.
But right now you're going backwards. And look, and I'm the biggest Brian Kelly fan on this panel. But, man, I mean, in 3 years, what's going on when you look around the landscape of college football and other coaches in year 1 and year 2 getting it done? I mean, it's an obvious answer. I mean, Alabama's in a much better spot in year 1 under Kalen DeBoer than LSU is in year 3.
Yep.
Keep an eye on the fact that the number 1 quarterback who is committed to LSU was in the house Saturday night. He's a Michigan guy, Michigan high school. He was there. He's the number 1 overall quarterback in this class. He's verbally committed to LSU.
Can't let him go.
You can't. Don't let him leave Baton Rouge. Michigan is talking $5 million, $6 million, $7 million.
So this is the guy Portnoy says he'll pay for.
This is the guy Portnoy and others are kicking in to pay for. Yeah. I think Underwood's his last name. He was.
It is.
Yeah, and he was there the other night, and
he looks NFL ready now. Just the physical body. Yep. I'll tell you this. I like to negotiate. I would love to negotiate on his behalf today. Like, okay, we've verbally committed to you, but let's go back and let's look at these 6 turnovers from Nussmeier the last 2 weeks. And oh, by the way, Michigan, I know you want to pay me $6-7 million. Look at your quarterback situation right now.
Yep.
So this is the
I want $10 million. You got them both over the barrel right now.
Yeah, you really do.
You do.
By the way, best stat of the night. He had to watch this. Kyron Lacey, best receiver for LSU. With 9:44 to go in the third quarter, he had 0 catches before he made his first catch of the night. So hats off to Zabion Brown and Damani Jackson and that Alabama defense for covering up Lacey.
Defense has gotten good.
0 catches for their number 1 receiver midway through the third quarter. That's what the number 1 recruit had to watch. We'll talk to Tyler Booker more on that win and get to everything else in college football as we continue. Before LT tells you about New York Butcher Shop, I want to remind you that Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing is there to help you out. A lot of rain over the last couple of days. Maybe you've got a leak up into your roof and you need to find out where it's coming from. That's why you call Greg from Pell City, 205-542-3531. It just takes 1 shingle to be displaced that can cause a water entry point. 205-542-3531. Greg will give you a free, no-cost roof inspection. Go check that out. He takes care of storm damage, roof replacements, insurance roofing claims, restoration inspections. He does it all. You can look him up on Facebook too. Greg from Pell City, 205-542-3531, locally owned and A+ rated, and also our friends at New York Butcher.
I cannot believe we are 2 weeks away from Thanksgiving. And if you are planning your feast right now, you don't want to get in the kitchen and do all the work. Let our man Jim and the fine folks at the New York Butcher Shop do it for you. Their turkey's fresh, all natural, hormone-free from Joyce Farms, one of the best poultry producers in America. Turkeys are fresh, but they can smoke or brine them for you. They also have got smoked ham, certified Angus prime, beef tenderloins, rib roast, all of their side dishes prepared in-house. Will feed 8 to 10. However, they can make it a little smaller. That will feed 4 to 6. They've got desserts, pies, cakes, banana breads, great wine selection as well. They're taking reservations, highly recommended. They will sell out, so stop into one of those 2 locations of the New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well done service.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at Ryan Brown Live.
A legendary coach once said, "It's not the will to win that matters. It is the will to prepare to win." Hi, I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryant Bank, and I can tell you that our Bryant bankers have the dedication and the experience to put together a financial game plan that is right for you. At Bryant Bank, we specialize in community banking and offer personal and business loans, checking and savings account, mobile banking, and treasury management services. Stop by one of our 18 offices across the state of Alabama to find out what unbeatable service and legendary results are all about.
Hey, you. It's the holidays. Give cheer a lift. And at New Balance Birmingham, we got the gift. That holiday vibe? Find it inside. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280 right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Thanksgiving is here, and let the New York Butcher Shop be the place to get all of your holiday meal items. Their premium turkeys are fresh, free-range, and hormone-free. The New York Butcher Shop also has a wide selection of chef-prepared side items to help save you time in the kitchen. Pick up a bottle of wine, and your meal will be complete. Turkeys are selling fast, so place your order today. 2 locations to serve you, in Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
From the creators of The Next Round comes 2 new sites, CoverCrimson.com and TheBarnAuburn.com. 2 team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. CoverCrimson.com or TheBarnAuburn.com. Sign up today.
Happy football season. At The Next Round, we strive to make our loyal listeners feel like they're a part of the action all season long. My name is Emily Grace McWhorter, and I do that by bringing you along for any given Saturday in Auburn or Tuscaloosa. From pregame warm-ups, touchdowns that make you feel a part of the play, and everything in between, our goal is to make you feel like you're inside Bryant-Denny or Jordan Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to fall Saturdays.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
We're about to talk to Tyler Booker, who I got a great video of him celebrating with the fans and leading the band. But Daryl, who's a big fan of our show, got to meet Tyler on Friday because a friend of his, Becky and Garrett's son Gabe, was who suffers from cerebral palsy, was part of the Tide Teammates tradition that Kalen DeBoer has brought to the University of Alabama. And on Friday, Gabe got a chance to score a touchdown with the team in practice. But afterwards, when Gabe and Becky and Garrett were getting in their car, they bumped in to Tyler Booker, who I'm sure was caught up with a lot to do to get out of town. And Tyler took the moment to not only spend some time with Gabe, as you see on the screen right here, but then all of a sudden said, you know what, I think I have some game-worn gloves in my car. And he went and got them and signed them for the family and passed it along. And the family sent word to me over the weekend that not only is Tyler Booker a great All-American lineman, but he's an even better person.
Yeah, fortunately, we could have told you that, and I'm glad somebody else got to see it, Book. How are you, man? You're a good dude. You're a good dude for doing stuff like that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I just want to thank Gabe and his family for coming out and spending some time with us. It was great to meet him, and I was glad I left those gloves in the car, and everything happens for a reason, so I was able to pass those along to Gabe and his family. But how are you guys doing this morning?
Doing fantastic. I imagine you're doing well. I mean, a lot we want to talk to you about from that game, but you have told us before, one of the things you enjoy the most is emptying a road stadium. And that one was the definition of an empty road stadium. Nobody wanted to stick around to see the end of that.
Yeah, I guess everybody wanted to beat the traffic after they knew it was going to happen. But that's our goal whenever we travel, whenever we're going to an enemy stadium. We want to empty it out, and we want to see how soon we empty it out. And I think people started to leave. A majority of the fans were gone around, I think, like 8 minutes left in the third quarter. It was pretty early, but that's a result of us doing our job and playing to the standard and doing what we're capable of doing. And we just have to be able to capture what we did on Saturday and build upon it.
You know, we talked about it earlier. Even a bigger kick to the teeth for LSU is the fact that Nick Sheridan and the offensive staff leaves the booth and comes down to the field there at the end to celebrate with you guys. Was it like looking around and seeing those guys down there on the field?
It was great. You know, it's always tough having. It's not tough. It's an element that we have to deal with the coaches being up in the booth. So usually not able to see them until either you get on a bus or you're in the locker room. So to be able to embrace them as we're winning, that was great.
Okay, everyone's talking about it. Jalen looked 3 steps faster than he had the last few games. What was the difference in your opinion?
I feel like we just did a much better job of blocking up front. I feel like this is definitely our best game to this point. And the thing that I'm encouraged by the most is I feel like as an offensive line, we played an okay game. We left a lot of yards on the table. We left a lot of blocks on the table. I mean, we were 3rd and 4th and 1 a couple of times. I think we only converted once, and that's just simply unacceptable. We need to, whenever it's 4th and 1 or 3rd and 1, when our numbers call, we need to answer. So that's where we need to improve. But I feel like we did a better job for Jalen. And as we go into practice tomorrow, we look forward to practicing better so we can open up even more holes for him and the running backs this weekend.
So 2 weeks of time without a game can help a guy's speed like that as much for Jalen, because you all looked fresh, but he looked fresher than anyone.
Yeah, I mean, a bye week helps. Bye week helps having that time off. Allows people to get their bodies right, and also allows the coaches to see which schemes work the best against which defenses. So I feel like everybody in the building took advantage of the bye week.
Tyler Booker is with us. Don't forget all your Alabama coverage, covercrimson.com. Join for $1 for the first month. The Cover Crimson website there, covercrimson.com, and also the Cover Crimson YouTube channel with great original programming there at the YouTube channel, Cover Crimson, covercrimson.com for everything. We asked you last week, what did you learn from struggling with the crowd noise in Neyland Stadium? You understandably were vague, but you guys had a different plan. It showed. I guess you were comfortable with the plan going in, but when you saw it working, how much more comfort did it give you in that game knowing you guys had a much better plan for dealing with crowd noise?
I mean, I was very comfortable even this week during practicing it a lot, working with Parker and Jalen on it on a guard attack. That's something that we were very confident in, and just making corrections from Tennessee to this past week, and it definitely helped and it definitely paid off. So we were very confident going into the game.
As an offensive lineman, what's more exciting, the fact that your quarterback stays clean the entire game, 0 sacks, or the fact that you guys go 10 of 13 on third downs?
Oh, I'll say 0 sacks, and that's just me personally. That might attest to me as a person. Like I'm a natural protector. I'm a natural protector. I don't like seeing people I care about get hurt, and I care about Jalen a great deal. So whenever we have to pick Jalen up off the ground after a sack, that's a horrible feeling. So to come out of a game with 0 sacks, that's great, and we want to keep feeling that feeling. So we have to continue to improve this week.
Yeah, you almost stepped on my toe jumping out of the crowd, so you are a natural protector. That would have crushed my foot if you would have done that. You got to run and jump in. You led the band. I hope I sent you that video. You led the band, and then you jumped in with the fans. You don't get to do that a lot, and you guys seem to be taking advantage of enjoying that moment. What was the locker room like when you guys got in there and the coach was able to address you? You don't have to give me details. I just want the mood and the emotions.
Excitement. I'll definitely say excitement, and for two reasons. For the first reason, we're excited because we won the game. We went on the road in a place that the last time we were there, we actually lost. So just excited to win, being grateful to win. But the second half of that excitement comes from like, oh gosh, like when we do what we're supposed to do, we're pretty good. We're a great football team when we do what we're supposed to do. So knowing that, we just have to continue to play to our standard and play to if everybody does their best one snap at a time, the only person that can stop us is us. Yeah.
I believe it was Milroe's long touchdown run, the longest touchdown run, 72 yards, I think it was.
I think so, yes.
Where an end zone camera shows you make a devastating block and then you let the defender know about it. Do you remember what you told him?
I was just asking him if he was all right.
You phrase it a little differently?
Yeah, were those the exact words?
Not necessarily, but the message got across.
Okay. Are you all right? Did you help him up?
No, of course not.
What was the post-game meal on the way back?
The post-game meal on the way back. Man, I don't even remember. I don't eat on a plane, man. I'm just so hyped up. I'm not even hungry. Like, but when I got back, I think I stopped that cookout before I got home because that was the only thing I was open.
Well, I bet you could destroy a cookout.
The most confusing menu of everything.
It gives me so much anxiety. Like that menu is just crazy.
I just tell them what I want, and however they put it together is how they put it together.
Okay, so do you remember what you ordered Saturday night?
I do, but my dietitian watches this, so we're gonna keep that on the low.
There's a 24-hour rule. Yeah. Hey, I think I'm right about this. You guys never saw the fake live tiger, not fake live, but the non-mascot live tiger, right? You guys were in the locker room the whole time it was on the field, or did y'all come across it at all?
No, I just feel sorry for the tiger. Like it wasted his time and everybody else's time. So sorry to him.
I love Book's trash talk.
No refund, no cash back.
It's the nicest trash talk in the world. It really is. Yeah. I see Tyler Booker is with us, covercrimson.com. Join for $1 for the first month, covercrimson.com. I see all the sites that grade like Cole Kublik and Pro Football Focus College. They graded you out high and said that might have been the best game you played at Alabama. Did you feel that personally? And does that match whatever you've been told by the coaching staff?
I definitely graded out high as being ranked from the coaching staff, and I do feel like it was one of my best games personally. I feel like my pass protection has gotten better. I was great in the run game, but this coming week has to be the best game that I played at Alabama. Just like up until Saturday, the Missouri game was the best game I played at Alabama. So every week I'm looking to create a new personal best.
So the rat poison is going to start coming out because I've said it, Brown said it. We believe that version of Alabama is the best team in college football. Now you've got Mercer, Oklahoma, and Auburn. How do you guys stay grounded for those three teams that you're going to be really, really big favorites in all three of those games?
Focusing on us. Like every opponent is nameless and faceless, so we just have to make sure that we're playing Alabama football. And this is something that we've been preaching from the jump. But now that time has gone by, we bumped our head twice. We touched the stove twice. We really believed it. So no falling subject to the rat poison now. We know we have to play Alabama football. But that starts all of our aspirations of winning a national championship, doing this, doing that. That starts by going into practice tomorrow morning, starting fast, and having a great practice.
Yeah, you notice he and Ryan said that you guys could be the best team in the country.
We've said it, Book.
I didn't say that. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, he actually had LSU beating you guys.
Yeah, I did. I thought LSU would win the game, and I will tell you you're the best team in the country in January if you get there. Okay?
There we go.
There we go. All right.
We just projected. Hey, I will say one of the reasons Lance and I are already ready to say that is your defense seems to be improving week after week. That is now 8 quarters of football with 1 garbage time touchdown and 8 quarters of SEC football. What have you seen from the other side of the ball that has improved?
Everybody, like there's a lot more leaders on that defense, and there's always been leaders, but guys are being more vocal. You see guys holding each other accountable. They're really ready to get after it, and I just think that it probably took a little bit of time because everybody was still trying to figure each other out. And what people fail to realize is that whenever even though the college football video game came out, that's not how this works. Like we are real people. We have to understand what our coach wants, and our coach has to understand what we want. So it takes a little bit of time to gel and come together as one, as a coordinator and as players. So once we gel together, once we get that groove with one another, that's when we're at our best. And I feel like the defense has definitely hit that groove in the past couple of weeks, even since the Tennessee game. I feel like they played a great game as an offense. We just have to play better as an offense. We're starting to hit that groove as well. So as those relationships build, the outcome on the field will be even better. But that's what people have to realize.
Yeah, and I do wonder, though, Book, like in the Missouri game when Kane Womack chose to put the starters back in to preserve that shutout, I mean, it's dummies like us that call things like that a turning point, but it felt like a turning point for that defense. It felt like that. I don't know. They've just felt different since that point.
Yeah, every week you're either going to send an invitation or a message, and an invitation to like these guys are soft. They're gonna let up when the game's almost over, or a message like we're not going to let you score. We don't care how much time is left. We don't care if we're playing your starters or all your walk-ons. We don't care. Like this Alabama, their mercy is not in our vocabulary.
I mean, Brian Kelly was pissed y'all were still blitzing at the end, and I'm like, dude, you've got your starting quarterback in. And
yeah, they still had their ones out there to get that last touchdown.
I don't know what's Alabama supposed to do. You've still got your starters in there, and Alabama had a lot of reserves in. They were still blitzing, but Brian Kelly for some reason got pissed about it.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on in Coach Kelly's mind, but I wish him and his team the best of luck for the rest of the season. But like I said, the word mercy is not in our vocabulary. So if you're going to leave your guys out there, you have to be ready for what comes with it.
That's right.
Are you guys still going to see movies on Friday nights?
Yes, we are. We didn't this past weekend because we were away.
So Gladiator 2 next Friday. I don't know if you've ever.
That's going to be the next one. That'll be the next one. For sure.
Okay.
All right.
What did you think of the first Gladiator? Is it a top 10 for you all time?
I haven't seen it. So what I'm going to do now, come on, guys.
You don't need to go to class today.
No. You got to watch it.
Yeah, I would get on that
That's
couch.
What I was about to say. I don't have class today, so I'll definitely be checking that out.
You will absolutely love it.
Okay.
Absolutely, it is incredible.
Yeah, this is gonna have different meaning for you right here after you see it. This move right here. next week we're gonna be able to do this, and you're gonna know what we're doing. Right there.
Please watch it. You'll love it.
All right, Book.
I love movies. I'm definitely gonna watch it today.
Yeah, you need to. It's a terrific movie. I think we're unanimous in that. Book, thank you very much for the time. Congrats on the win, and we'll see you next Monday.
All right, thanks. Y'all have a good one.
All right, buddy. You too. Take care. That is Tyler Booker, the Alabama offensive lineman that is with us each week on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. A reminder, CoverCrimson.com has every single thing Alabama for you. CoverCrimson.com and the Cover Crimson YouTube channel with great original programming. Also, CoverCrimson.com with the website and the message board and all of that. You can join for $1 for the first month. CoverCrimson.com. That is CoverCrimson.com. As a reminder, I want to say this before Hugh Freeze says anything today, if he says anything at all. We said it last week. This is a scheduled off week next week for Peyton Thorne. In the preseason, he said he needed this week off for some reason. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. But I don't know what might come out of the press conference today. I just want to get out in front of it. Peyton Thorne is not with us tomorrow, and that was planned in the preseason.
Yeah, and I don't think Hugh is going to come out and say, hey, look, Hank is going to be our starter here.
Yeah. I don't either. I don't expect that, but I just wanted to get in front of it just in case.
Okay. Show being brought to you by several great folks. Our friends, DanielMooreArt.com, DanielMooreArt.com, the legend, a tribute to Coach Nick Saban and his 6 national championship seasons. You can order that right now. The 2025 calendar is available. Coupon code is TNR, 20% off that calendar for 2025 with some great works from Daniel Moore Art in that calendar. Perfect stocking stuffer there. And Deuces Wild for the big win over Georgia. Ryan Williams, Xavier Brown, the Deuces running wild to beat Georgia. The preliminary sketch is there. Who knows if he does something about Milroe running through the bayou. DanielMooreArt.com. Also by our friends at Woodhouse Day Spa.
Yeah, look, you're thinking right now, what am I going to do for the holidays for my wife or girlfriend? Very simple answer. Hey, and for the ladies listening out there, if you're looking to do something special for your husband or boyfriend, the Woodhouse Day Spa, I'm telling you, amazing place. It's so simple just to get the gift card 24/7 online, birmingham.woodhousespas.com. Let them choose from a menu of over 70 options, including massages, body treatment, skincare, waxing, nail services. Woodhouse Day Spa, voted America's best day spa since 2009. Order that special person gift online 24/7, birmingham.woodhousespas.com, or just stop in, see Stuart and that great staff. They're located right there at the Summit Shopping Center.
Monday Night Football tonight. The Rams, a 2.5-point home favorite over the Dolphins. Wrong team favorite, America. Lance actually thinks that, by the way. I think he's just baiting me in. You can play that at mybookie.ag. Were you guys surprised? Some Auburn fans were when I sent it out yesterday at the size of the Auburn point spread. They were favored 24 over La Monroe.
I mean, look, it's still La Monroe.
Still at 24.
Auburn's coming off a bye. It seems a little high. I would have nestled around 20.
Okay. An early line, the opening line on that massive Georgia-Tennessee game now. Georgia at a Mulligan's. Tennessee still maybe has one. Georgia a 9-point favorite at home over Tennessee Saturday. You can play all those games at mybookie.ag. Code next round when you sign on at mybookie.ag. They give you that sign-on bonus. You make your deposit. They double it with code next round at mybookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag, code next round. MyBookie.ag, code next round.
Okay, so a lot happened since we left the show on Friday. That included a altercation on the Auburn basketball plane to Houston, it being returned to Auburn, then 2 players left behind, and then Auburn basketball goes on, makes the trip, goes to Houston, and then plays a classic game Saturday night in what everyone who follows basketball called an Elite Eight type matchup, and then hands it to Houston 74-69 in a big win for Auburn basketball. One of those signature wins as Bruce has upgraded the schedule pre-conference, and those are the kind of wins that get you a high seed in the NCAA tournament. Pretty dominant performance from Auburn basketball.
I mean, they shoot 53% against traditionally one of the best defenses in all of basketball. Kelvin Sampson's Houston Cougars, they hit 7 of their final 8. Janai Broome was really good with the 20, missed all 4 of his threes. And I wonder if that's going to be part of the game again, if he's really trying to refine that to show what he can do at the next level. But Auburn, just a big time win right there. And, I know we've got a lot of basketball this season, but I can't even imagine the home and home how big this Alabama-Auburn ticket will be.
Oh, it's going to be so fun. I mean, they appear to be, as projected, the 2 best teams of the conference right now.
Yeah, maybe 2 best teams in college basketball.
But you guys know how March resumes are built. They're really built on these November, December wins. If you can get a marquee win like this, and Alabama has some coming up, Auburn's got more coming up. This was if you lose this game, it's going to be no shade on you. But to get a win like this and not be in Neville Arena, this will resonate all the way through Selection Sunday.
And Lance touched on it. You got to go deeper than just the score. The score is impressive enough, but to shoot 53% against a Kelvin Sampson defense, I think I saw it was only the 4th team. And I can't remember the time frame, but when you say it's only the 4th team to do it,
you don't see that,
no matter what the time frame is. Those are great defenses, and Auburn, especially in the back quarter of the game there, just own that defense.
Yeah, and big moments like Dylan Cardwell, who was a bench player last year, getting some starts now, but he makes a defensive play, and then the big man takes it to the length of the floor and dunks it against a Houston defense that's always traditionally pretty good. Really impressive win, and then there was the incident on the plane. Janai Broome post-game here talking about Auburn's win over Houston.
Despite the adversity you guys had traveling here, how did you stay focused to come out victorious on tonight's game? Anybody can answer.
Well, stuff happens, but at the end of the day, we came in to play basketball. So, everybody was locked in with each other. We're our brother's keepers, so, we have a strong family here. And we came out here and won the basketball game.
Yeah, so they put that behind them and went out there and did that. Dylan Cardwell on his TikTok, by the way, said, "You put dogs in a plane, what'd you expect to happen?"
I saw that. A bunch of dogs in a plane. I mean, Little T was...
It is so embarrassing, though.
It's an embarrassing moment, but it'll be completely forgotten
about.
Yeah,
you keep winning, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, Little T was like, oh, God, right before this big game. And I was like, no, you're going to win the game now. She's like, what are you talking about? I said, everybody in the world's going to think Houston wins this game now. You have to turn the plane around and leave 2 players at Auburn and then go back to Houston. I was like, you're going to win the game now.
Yeah. Oh, it worked out perfect because, Jimmy Landmine. I get... a bit of information from somebody I won't name about Alabama, And then I'm driving down and I'm getting the text that Auburn's had to turn their plane around. Perfect timing when I've got buddies who are in Vegas. So quickly I Venmo $100 and I'm like, hey, parlay, give me LSU and Houston. Give me LSU in the points, Houston money line.
Bingo. Yeah.
And they've learned. They won big money.
They went the other way because
they went off.
Boys, we got it.
I stuck with Bama minus the 3, but one of the things, and I talked about this on Friday, one of the things I was going to add on Saturday once it got in stone was the over rushing yards for Milroe.
At one wasn't that at 50?
It was 44.5 at one point. Yeah. I ended up not playing it just because of some of the rumblings I had heard.
Yeah. Our friends at A+ brings you part of the show, and one more basketball thing to get to involving the Florida head coach, Todd Golden, and some accusations that are out there. Tell us about A+.
It's A+ Tile Home Remodeling. It is who redid the master bath in the Brown house, the master bath in the kitchen in the Lance Taylor house, and the way we came across Brad Bell of A+ Tile Home Remodeling is my wife, Jennifer Brown. When it came time to do the master bath, she scoured the internet looking for the best person for the job. She talked to people that had used contractors themselves, read a ton of reviews, and she said Brad's the right guy for the job. And I'm glad she picked him. His crews did tremendous work. They were on time. They were clean. They were courteous. I mean, just everything you would want. 205-422-1758. That's 205-422-1758. In fact, the most recent work I had Brad do at my house, laying some hardwood floors, his crews were just sitting out in front of my house. I finally had to go out and say, guys, y'all come in and start working. They're like, well, we weren't supposed to be here till 8:30. I said, I don't care. You're early. Let's go. So, I mean, that's their commitment to being on time when they say they're going to be there. 205-422-1758. Brad Bell, A+ Tile Home Remodeling, specializes in master bath, kitchen, and master bedroom closets. He'll do great work for you. 205-422-1758.
Will Howard and McNeese State in town to play Alabama tonight over at Coleman, 6 o'clock SEC Network if you want to watch it.
Will Wade.
Will Wade, I apologize.
Will Howard, the Kansas State quarterback.
Yeah.
He might be better coaching for McNeese State? I don't know.
Oh, no. Will Wade's a good coach. Will Wade and McNeese and Alabama tonight over in Tuscaloosa, 6 o'clock. UAB with a win yesterday. Kansas beat North Carolina. And then there's the Florida story, and we try very hard, and a lot of it is Lance, who always pushes me to do this very well, to make sure we cover both sides of the story, because headlines make it, and then sometimes the pushback from the accused doesn't make the headlines the same. Florida coach Todd Golden, it'll be interesting to see if he coaches tonight against Grambling, but he's accused of sexual harassment and stalking from the Alligator, the school newspaper, reporting there. A complaint was filed on September the 27th. Golden says he's cooperating with an active Title IX suit right now, case, but he also says he's exploring a defamation lawsuit against those that have accused him of this. Which
the Alligator?
Which is the school newspaper, yes. Which is so means it's part of the University of Florida, his employer. But it's funny to see how that works. But sometimes you don't get the pushback. He is exploring a defamation lawsuit. He hasn't filed one yet. He's letting it play out. We'll see if he coaches tonight against Grambling. Scott Strickland had an interesting week. The athletic director announces on Thursday that Billy Napier is going to be the coach for the foreseeable future at Florida. Never says 2025. Then they go out and get pounded by Texas, and then the next day this story comes out. Not an easy job for Scott Strickland.
No.
Right now.
Look, these allegations, if even close to accurate, Todd Golden is gone. He is one of the best young coaches in all of basketball, fun style to watch. Look, he'll get banished somewhere for a couple of years, and then he'll end up bouncing back. We talked about this a little bit on Saturday. This seems pretty black and white. Like, the allegations with photos, like, all you've got to do, first of all, he's got a university phone. You would hope by now that if these coaches are going to do below-board things, they wouldn't use a university phone.
One would have to think, yeah.
But that will be an easy find. And if not, you've got all of these 8, 10, 15, whatever the number of students are, should be pretty easy. Like, if they're the ones making the allegations, let us see the proof.
Yeah, I mean, do you have screenshots or not? I mean, that's probably what it comes down to. On the Scott Strickland front, I wish I had said this on the show last week. I thought about it as the game was starting Saturday, but I'm like, that was smart of Scott Strickland to make that announcement going into the Texas game. That announcement today feels a whole lot different if you had waited until this week after Texas.
Oh, absolutely.
That's when you should have called your buddies in Vegas, like, load up on Texas. Scott Strickland knows what's coming.
Yeah, he knew that the third-string quarterback would be playing, but these allegations about Golden were made on September 27th, and usually the way stories like this work, you ask for a quote from the athletic director or a CEO of a company the day before the story is released, and that would have been Wednesday night or Thursday. So some people are saying Scott threw the Napier stuff out there, knowing what was about to come. Also, on
that
the athletic front,
wow.
The Golden thing.
But on the playing devil's advocate, if you're a Florida fan, like this guy just endorsed and gave another year to a guy that just got ran out of here, and at the same time,
it was never going to be comfortable.
Yeah, one of the best things we've got going in basketball. This thing's falling apart right now.
He is in a mess. Scott Strickland is. I would not want his job right now.
Yeah, keep in mind. Huggins, Freeze, Petrino, Patino, Chris Beard. These are all names of people. Beard, who had his allegations of family violence charge, was dropped by prosecutors, and he still got run out of Texas.
He did.
And basically within 3 weeks of the allegations, the arrest. Huggins was another drunk driving. We know what happened with Hugh Freeze. Petrino, we know what happened with him. Patino, we know what happened with him. They all lost their jobs.
Yeah, and Petrino more so it was because it was a university employee.
Correct.
I mean, if these, in fact, are students and this is any substance at all, I mean, he has got zero shot at surviving.
Yep.
And if it's complete bullshit, then, now there needs to be repercussions on the other side.
I agree, and his reputation for a lot of people is tarnished because, as Jim said, a lot of people saw that first story and they never see the follow-up.
Never circle back around. All right, top of the hour here. More football, 4 downs, Joel Klatt in the next hour. Before we leave, though, big event coming here to Birmingham at the Comedy Club. One of our favorite people on the planet is coming to town to spend some time with us this week, and you may have seen him on the stage with Lance Taylor. Was Lance on the stage with him?
I was on with him.
Yeah. Okay. Who is this?
This is our man, Big Earl. And if you've been to the Floribama over the last 20 years on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you've probably seen this man perform. Him and the Sexual Biscuits. It is one of the most entertaining shows out there. It is not for the weak at heart, though. If you get easily offended, don't even bother going. But if you love very... how should we call it? Controversial?
NC-17.
Commentary along with really good music, a lot of 90s country. I know a lot of people out there like that. For decades, Big Earl and his band, the Sexual Biscuits, have been playing at the Floribama. They have brought a unique sound and commentary to the world-famous honky tonk on the beach. And now, guess what? Heading to the Comedy Club Stardome right here in Birmingham this Thursday. One night only. By the way, the last time we had a conversation with Big Earl when we were down at the beach, they're actually shutting down that act. They are retiring it from the Floribama. So if you've never seen this before, he's going to be in your backyard, and you can get tickets right now. 444-0008. That's 444-0008. Go to stardome.com. It is one night only with Big Earl and the Sexual Biscuits at the Comedy Club Stardome.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at Jim Dunaway.
Man, I love a good meal. I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game, or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster, Champy's Chicken.
Are you tired of buying your CPAP mask and supplies online only to be disappointed? It's time to visit CPAP Plus, your locally owned and operated CPAP shop that prides itself on personal service. Come see what you're buying at CPAP Plus with 3 convenient locations in Pelham, Highway 280, and now open in Trustful. Drop by for a free CPAP checkup and free filters, no appointment needed. Plus, sign up for their giveaway for a chance to win a free travel CPAP machine. Just Google CPAP Plus or visit any of those 3 locations.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. 888-866-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Hey, you. It's the holidays. Give cheer a lift. And at New Balance Birmingham, we got the gift. That holiday vibe? Find it inside. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Our friends at Milo's Hamburger invites you to join them in the fight against hunger in our local communities by bringing non-perishable food items to your local Milo's, including canned goods. When you donate a canned good or any non-perishable food item, Milo's will give you a free drink. Together, we can make a difference.
You can't wait for college football talk every Monday, so we don't make you wait. Ryan Brown here for The Next Round. You can catch ESPN's Tom Luganville with Jim Dunaway on Monday morning live at 7 a.m. I'm with Brandon Marcello on the middle 8 at 8 after The Next Round. Hear from Alabama coach Kalen DeBoer and Auburn coach Hugh. After the coaches talk, Fox Sports analyst Brock Heward joins Lance Taylor for Unlocked at 1 o'clock. All college football, all day Monday, anywhere you get The Next Round.
From the creators of The Next Round comes two new sites, covercrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. Two team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. Covercrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Hang out with The Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out The Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
10 o'clock hour brought to you in part by our friends at Slice. They're about to bring you 4 Downs, Tyler. Tell us about Slice, a great location. 5 of them in the area for the best pizza you've ever tasted.
Fantastic pizza, local ingredients, local pizza, great beer selection. Stop into one of those 5 locations, the original Lakeview Vestavia, Montevallo Crestline Park, newest location in Edgewood. Go say hello to the Bajaya Brothers for lunch or dinner. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
Before you hit first down, Tyler, let me just throw out a stat because these two are excited about the Monday night. They don't want to talk about Ole Miss's big win over Georgia. They're tired of talking about Alabama, LSU. All they want to talk about is Dolphins. They can't even see 500. They're so far back. And Rams need the win to keep playoff hopes alive. It's a big Monday night game. Advantage Rams tonight because in all football this weekend, the state of Florida is 0-11.
It's crazy to think about.
Noles, Canes, Gators, Bulls, Knights,
Buccaneers,
Owls, Buccaneers, Jaguars,
all of them.
Yeah,
0-11.
I would go as far as to say that's never happened. Like, you can't solidify an
I don't think
0
so.
for 12.
So that way it's not going to happen. So I'm sure the Dolphins win tonight.
It would be an 0 for 12 for the state of Florida.
That's hard to believe. I have not seen that anywhere. I never even thought about that.
Yeah, thank you to the athletic Stuart Mandel.
Yeah, Marcelo brought it up on the middle 8 too. I'd not seen it either. But and how about Florida State just went ahead and ran their coaching staff out of town?
Yeah,
I mean Norvell just emptied the chamber.
Just the OC and the DC.
That's all.
Norvell kept his job.
That was an embarrassing night for them. Embarrassing.
Let's do first down.
Okay, more surprising outcome this weekend. Alabama 42-13 over LSU or Georgia Tech pulling the upset over Miami?
I think because of the actual score, it was Alabama 42-13. The way, I mean, that was, to me, that was a 60-6 type performance from Alabama because those receivers are wide open. If Milroe puts any kind of air under them, Ryan Williams, you guys may say he dropped it, but
it's a tough catch.
I mean, he closed a lot of space.
Yeah.
He speed up to get to that flat throw from Milroe. They catch those 2 or 3 balls, I think it's 60-6.
Yeah, I agree. Just based on the way this thing played out, I did say
you picked Georgia Tech.
Yeah, I did say if there was going to be a blowout, like I didn't see any way LSU could blow them out. If somebody was going to win by double digits plus, it would be Alabama. I did expect a tighter game, and I kind of had a feeling. I mean, Miami sooner or later was going to lose one of these.
Miami has been doing this too often. They've flown too close to the sun way too many times. Keep needing that dominant fourth quarter to bail their team out.
And it wasn't even. I mean, Haynes King was in and out. They only used him, some. He wasn't always back there. He gutted through an injury.
Such a great coaching job by Brent Key. I mean, too.
The Aaron Philo kid's going to be good, though.
Yeah.
He is.
I mean,
the
ball pops out of his hand.
Yeah, I think Georgia Tech's on the ascent. Honestly,
I don't understand.
What?
Miami. I think it was either 6 or 7 consecutive runs from Martinez.
Oh, he's starting to finally run the football effectively, and then they just go away from it.
And then they go to a 4th and 1. Instead of giving it to him again on that drive, they do play action pass.
How about Cristobal calling a timeout after the 2-minute warning?
Yeah.
Coming out of the 2-minute warning.
I mean, that's inexcusable.
From the same coaching staff that refused to take a knee in the Georgia Tech loss last year.
That's right, yeah. His games against Georgia Tech have not been his best. There's no doubt about it.
You're the one that always says, really good coach, Sunday through Friday.
Yeah, and this kills the ACC getting 2 teams in. That's over
Kills
now.
it, done.
Yeah.
And by the way, Miami, I don't know how the tiebreaker is going to work, but they may not even make it to the ACC championship game. They're tied with Clemson now. They need Pitt to beat Clemson to be completely clear.
Head-to-head first.
Yeah, but they didn't play.
Miami did beat Clemson. Didn't they? Didn't they play?
I don't think Miami played. No, Miami and Clemson have not played.
That's right.
So I'll have to go look at the tiebreakers. The SEC one is deeper than this.
So I know last week you had them included as one of your teams that could win the national championship. Do you think they are completely done now?
I mean, Cam Ward keeps it alive because I saw Cam Newton lead a team that was probably, a 2 or 3 loss team to a national championship. Cam Ward, I think, has that skill set, but no, I'd take them out of the mix.
Second down.
We all agreed Alabama 42-13 was a bigger surprise. But if I asked you Alabama 42-13 or Ole Miss 28-10 over Georgia?
Ole Miss 28-10 over Georgia, and here's why. Lane Kiffin coached like a mature adult coach.
Best coaching job ever.
He settled for field goals.
Yep.
Like you should. He didn't press going forward on 4th down. He played to his defense. I thought it was a mature coaching job by Lane Kiffin. Remember how?
And I agree, and I need to say this because I do take shots at him.
Yeah.
But I thought even pregame in his interview right before kick was well structured. It was all about the team. It was how proud he was, talking about the crowd. It was nothing. Get your popcorn ready and throw in the thing.
And the get your popcorn game. Remember what he did that first drive? He went for it on 4th down a couple of times.
4 4th downs.
Yeah, didn't take the 3 points when it was given to him in that game, and it cost his team a chance to win that football game. He was so good on Saturday.
Yeah, I agree. And the way they won that game, man, their defense, wow.
Yeah, and speaking of gutting out an injury, Jackson Dart, I mean, when he left, I thought, oh, my God, he's not coming back.
It was 7-0 Georgia. Did you guys not? Because I had a buddy reached out to me just randomly, hey, can you do me a favor? Can you get me a wager in? And I was like, what's the game? Because I don't want to say a side because I don't want somebody to think I'm holding it. And he was like, Georgia, Ole Miss. So I gave it to him. He popped Georgia, and I knew at that point, like I felt good about Ole Miss to begin with, but when you get things out of the blue like that, you know it's done. But when it was 7-0, and Jackson Dart looked like it was one of those non-contact injuries where maybe he just blew, the ACL or the whatever goes out.
But that's where you've got to give the most credit in the game to Lane Kiffin, because Austin Simmons has come in the game. And not only is Austin Simmons in the game, Jackson Dart's in the locker room. He's not in the injury tent. He's in the locker room. And you know what Lane Kiffin did? He's like, this is our game plan. We're going to run it with Austin, too.
That's right.
He didn't go in a shell. They didn't just run it and see what happens. They let him throw. And that kid, he looked fantastic.
He looked so good that I was like, when Dart came back out, I was like,
I don't know if they need to put Dart back in.
Don't put him back in. So give Lane Kiffin credit to go back to his starter because I would have stuck with Simmons. Yeah. I mean, that drive, 64-yard drive, 10 plays, 75 yards, 5 of 6.
Yeah.
Dart's a baller.
Third down.
Demi Moore, we were talking about the movie The Substance. She plays a 50-year-old in that. She's 62 today. She pulls off 50 pretty well,
Okay.
too. But better career, Demi Moore or her former partner, Ashton Kutcher?
I like Ashton Kutcher a lot, and I like what he does fighting human trafficking. He and Mila Kunis, I think his wife, spend a lot of their own money fighting human trafficking in the world. And I appreciate that a great deal.
Punk'd was a good show.
I'm saying I'm anti-human trafficking.
That's a good thing.
Good stand for you.
Punk'd was a good show on MTV, though.
Yeah,
It
but
was.
Demi Moore's had the longer, better career than Kutcher.
And she's part of a new. I watched the horrible return of Yellowstone last night. Tyler
Boy.
Sheridan, is that correct?
Yeah.
Taylor
People are
Okay.
killing that.
But he's got a new show.
Yeah, with Billy Bob and John Hamm and Demi Moore.
Landman.
Yeah.
It's on oil companies.
I'll be watching because I just started watching Linus a couple of weeks ago. I told Brandon he needs to get on it.
Yeah, you're season 2 of Linus.
Season 2 seems better than season 1. Season 1 was solid, a little cheesy, but season 2, I've only 2 episodes in. It's strong.
Landman has
and he's in it. He's one of the actors.
Billy Bob is an oil guy. Our boy John Hamm, is that his name? From Mad Men, and Demi Moore's in it. I mean, that's a cast.
No, that is.
That's a cast right there.
Yeah, I mean,
boys.
Taylor Sheridan swings a big stick in Hollywood.
I'll take Demi.
4th down.
One of the more difficult questions ever here. Leonardo DiCaprio, 50. What do you think he's doing to celebrate 50 today?
I bet I could guess it.
Much like
I bet he's crawling on his hands and knees towards somebody.
much like Jordan Belfort in Wolf of Wall Street. Same kind of celebration. But if I ask you better career, Leo or Tom Brady?
Tom Brady's the GOAT. Melton wants to say something. He's just grabbing that microphone.
Oozing.
I was just going to say it's not what is he doing. It's
Yes,
who. Never mind.
That's right. Yes.
No, Leo's, I think, the greatest actor of our generation. I think Brady's the best quarterback of our generation. This is a great question here, but they're both really bad with long-term relationships.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Now, I wonder why.
Brady was committed to the Patriots.
Like, your Buccaneers benefited from him looking the other way.
What is the... I'll do this. I try to do this. Give me the absolute stinker that DiCaprio's been in.
That would be J. Edgar, which is an absolute train wreck.
Hey,
the prosthetics in that are just miserable to watch.
So bad they've buried it. Like, that's one of those movies I don't even think about when it comes to DiCaprio. And some of his movies don't appeal to all. Like, I thought The Aviator was really good.
Yeah.
I thought he was good in it. I didn't really like the movie.
I thought it was a good movie. Now, The Revenant I thought was overrated, but I still liked it. He was incredible in it.
Yeah.
He does fun movies like Catch Me If You Can.
He does.
Those are fun.
Oh, he was good.
I'm the movie guy, but I'm taking Tom Brady in this argument.
Okay.
I think I'm going to take Leo.
Brady.
Just because going from a child actor to being as successful as he is right now at 50 and can name his script.
Yeah, I was going to go Leo, but Melton, I think, taught me into Tom Brady. He's the movie guy.
That's 4 Downs, brought to you by our friends at Slice.
5 great locations for lunch or dinner. Stop in. Local pizza, local ingredients. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
And also by our friends at the Pants Store, man. It's time for the... First off, it's time for the fall meaningful games in November. You want to be dressed right for rivalry weekend coming up. You can get that at the Pants Store. All the quarter zips and the hoodies and the sweatshirts, the women's clothing, all at the Pants Store. Alabama and Auburn gear with great name brands like Gentile, Cutter Buck, Horn Legend, and the whole crew there. But also, they've got free alterations, and they've got free gift wrapping for the holidays coming up as well. You can go anywhere. Shop anywhere in the world, pantstore.com, or go to locations in Leeds and Birmingham. Leeds, Birmingham, Huntsville, Auburn, and Tuscaloosa. Trust me, if you've got a teenager or 20-something, don't go anywhere else but the Pants Store, pantstore.com. Also by our friends at johnstonrvcenter.com.
You can find them I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur, and always online at johnstonrvcenter.com. It is Veterans Day. We remind you this all the time with Johnston RV. They are so thankful for your service. Great discounts for veterans and active duty military. Find out more from them. It's just a very small token of their appreciation. $145 a month for travel trailers, as low as that. $45,000 or more savings on fifth wheels, RV warranty forever. Make sure you got a lifetime warranty on anything that is new or qualifying pre-owned. You can see more. I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur, johnstonrvcenter.com.
And I've asked before, what is better than one Milo's burger? How about 24 free Milo's burgers? Milo's giving away that catered meal for up to 24 guests. That's right, 24 of your closest friends, coworkers, or family could be chowing down on Milo's favorites in the the best part, it is free. For your chance to win, head to miloshamburgers.com/catering-contest. Enter today. That is miloshamburgers.com/catering-contest. So whether you're feeding a few or a whole crew, Milo's has got you covered. Don't wait. Enter now, and maybe they'll be serving you and 23 of your lucky friends soon. Stay saucy.
All right. So Joel Klatt in the next segment. I want to talk a little bit about what you do if you're the playoff committee tomorrow night. We can jump more into this with Klatt and then more into it tomorrow night when the actual day it's happening. But what do you do with Georgia? What do you do with Alabama? And what do you do with Ole Miss?
Well, I think you've got to have Alabama and Ole Miss both ranked in front of Georgia.
I think you do now, yeah, because Georgia's not – they are progressively getting worse, it seems like.
And Alabama and Ole Miss are playing better than Georgia right now, and they both beat Georgia on the field. I do not see how, if you're the committee, you could have Georgia in front of either one of those two, and the records are the same.
Okay, so then I ask you the question, is Georgia out of the top 12 at this point?
I do not think so yet. But this
is where I remind you there are 12 spots.
Yeah, but Georgia is still better than, and you'll see it this weekend. Look, the number's inflated because it is Georgia. It's in Athens. 9 is too many. It should be about 7. But I think they're better than Penn State. I think they're better than Indiana. I think they're better than Tennessee. I think they're better than BYU. I think they're better than Notre Dame. And I think they're better than Miami.
Yeah, where the committee is going to have an issue is when Georgia beats Tennessee. And now I got a bunch of 2-loss teams. Tennessee's beaten Alabama. Alabama's beaten Georgia. Ole Miss has beaten Georgia. Tennessee and Ole Miss haven't played.
Georgia's beaten Texas, which we forget to bring up.
That's right, yep.
And Texas is probably going to be number 3 tomorrow night.
I think I brought all this up to Greg Sankey back in July.
You did. Yeah. He did not want to answer the question then, but it's about to happen now. You're going to end up with what we thought was going to happen. You're going to end up with a bunch of 2-loss teams.
Yep.
In the SEC, a bunch of them.
And so, how much respect does the scheduling get? Because I feel like Miami potentially and probably should not be ranked in the top 12
I don't think they
night.
will be. Yeah, I don't think they will be.
I think SMU and Miami will both be outside the top 12 tomorrow night. At least if they're doing it the way I think they should do it.
And where was BYU?
They were 9th.
They should fall.
They will fall out.
Hey,
I don't know if they'll fall out.
I still don't know how they won that game Saturday night. I know it's a rivalry game. I know that is one of the more difficult places to play in the Big 12.
Would you like to ask their athletic director?
Yeah, cut 9. I've never seen this. Cut 9, Tyler, if you can. I've never seen this before, that an athletic director – now, he did this for Kyle Whittingham.
Yeah, his coach had just talked and was –
I think it was before the coach.
Was it before? I thought it was after the coach. Okay.
I think he went in before. If I understood the situation right, thanks to our friends at KSL Sports, I think the athletic director went in and surprised everybody.
Right.
That he's walking up to the podium, and then Kyle Whittingham followed him and didn't have to talk about a holding call on a 4th and long at basically when Utah had a sack at the BYU 1 that basically the holding call allowed BYU to drive down and get the game-winning field goal and win the game 22-21. This is the sitting, he's the Utah athletic director, and he was fined $40,000 for these comments.
I've been an athletic director for 12 years. This game was absolutely stolen from us. We were excited about being in the Big 12, but tonight I am not. We won this game. Someone else stole it from us. Very disappointed. I will talk to the commissioner. This was not fair to our team. I'm disgusted by the professionalism of the officiating crew tonight. Thank you.
Wow. I've never seen that in my life. It was magnified by the fact, and I don't know how many of our audience stayed up to watch this, but it was magnified by the fact that the only replay we could get was from 7,000 yards away. Like, you couldn't see anything. And Brock Osweiler, who I think does a pretty good job, immediately was like, oh, they got the call right. And I'm like, I don't know how Brock knows that. Because the replay was all the way, it was as far away as you could possibly get. You couldn't see anything on that. You saw it, Lance. You were up watching it. You look at the replay, and it didn't show anything.
No. Look, and I do think Utah won that game.
I do, too. They were the better team.
Yeah, I give BYU credit for coming back. I think it was a bad call. I'm very surprised, though, even in the heat of the moment, you had a little bit of time to process it between the end of the game and walking up premeditated to the podium to absolutely unload on the Big 12. Bad luck for an AD.
Okay, now, obviously, I was still trying to find my truck in Baton Rouge. Landmine believer, it was BS The players were celebrating 15, 20 seconds before the flag even came out. Was it a late flag?
No. They said as soon as he was sacked, they said flag out.
Okay.
So
in the replay, could you see the ref throw the flag?
No, because the action's in the end zone. The quarterback's just trying to survive getting out of the end zone. It was almost a safety, which I think would have affected.
Yeah, it would have.
A lot of people had it been a safety. That was my first thought.
Yeah.
And as soon as he got sacked, the play-by-play guy that's with Osweiler, and I wish I could remember his name, said flag on the play. Now, I don't know how quick it came out, but he said it as soon as the sack happened.
People go back to Alabama's loss in Neyland.
Yeah.
That late pass interference flag from way over on the other side of the field. I don't know if it was delayed like that. I didn't see it. But I did see that. I
mean, they were celebrating. He's right. They were celebrating because the flag is downfield.
Right.
So the guys that just make the sack have no clue that it has happened. But I don't know, Lance. I mean, correct me if you remember differently, but I remember the play-by-play guy almost instantly saying there's a flag on the play.
I don't remember that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't see a late flag.
For him to say, we were excited about being in the Big 12, but I'm not now. That is
that's one that probably comes back to haunt you.
That's harsh words.
Well, I mean, look, back to the camera angle, you would think technology in the Big 12 would be a lot better, but they only fined him $40,000. That's a $100,000 fine for sure in the SEC.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I do wonder. They play,
They play a red-hot Kansas team who, by the way, we had, plus Iowa State. Now, look, the game's in Provo, and it's a night game, so I don't know. I'm not ready to say that. Kansas has been really inconsistent. But if they do get by Kansas, they're going to beat Arizona State and Houston. So this is obviously an understatement would be to say it's a massive game. I still think, though, even with the loss to Kansas, 11-1 gets them in the Big 12 championship.
I was going to take the other side of this, though. And we can ask Klatt because it's the game he'll be on. Do you think Utah gets every call Saturday? Or are they protecting Colorado because that is a team that is now, with Iowa State's loss to that red-hot Kansas team, Colorado's in the championship
I
game
think
right
they'll
now.
protect Colorado. I thought there was some Army protection this weekend from the American against North Texas.
Okay.
One of my two
should
losses.
there be protections?
Well,
No.
I would hope not. I would hope you just call what you see. But
I mean, the ACC tried for Miami for as long as they could.
Yeah. I would imagine there's some LSU fans that thought every call went Alabama's way the other night.
What were the controversial calls in that game? The face mask was controversial, clear face mask.
Still, I mean, does it really matter?
No, I don't think so either. But it seemed like every chance LSU, I mean, even I was sitting there going, they're making the right calls, but this does feel like anytime there's a chance for LSU to get in this game, they're screwing it up with a penalty.
There was the review along the sideline, Kyron Lacey. And that was the one where I thought we were going to get more water bottles. Clearly out of bounds. You can't look at that replay and think he wasn't out of bounds.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Instantly when they showed it.
Yeah, I mean, the very first replay they showed, toes on the line. There's no doubt about it.
I'll tell you the one, the touchdown review, because they have.
Yeah, that was one.
They for some reason, they usually show what the review, what you can see, what the officials looking at under the hood.
Yeah.
They do that. But for some reason, they popped up Herb Street when he's drawing the line of showing where the ball was.
Oh, because it benefited them.
And that's what they put on the screen. So there's the line. I'm like, I leaned over to the Lion scout, and I said, well, this is kind of, he's down. The ball's short.
I think that was first and goal.
And then they came back and it was like, touchdown. And the crowd went crazy then, too.
Yeah, I thought that was going to get overturned. But again, that was first and goal from the half-yard line.
Yeah.
I mean,
was it first goal then? I mean,
yeah, because remember
at one point it was
first and goal. They had hit either Miller or Haynes out of the backfield. He almost got it in. Yeah. And then I think that was the first play after that.
I don't think it was. I think Alabama, because I remember.
What do you think it was, second or third?
I think it was second or third. I think it was one of those two.
Oh, I think it was third.
Yeah, because I remember looking over, I said, as an NFL guy, when they line up at the foot line and they've got him in shotgun, does that make you just pound the desk here? He's like, I don't understand it. It's so automatic if he lines up under center and leans forward as big as Jalen Milroe is.
Most trash chunked on a field, though, was in Lubbock this weekend, right?
Well, that was tortillas.
Yeah, that's tradition.
That's tradition.
No, well, they also threw vapes, beer bottles. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. I mean, Joey McGuire said as much after the game.
Joel Klatt coming up on the other side. The show being brought to you by our friends at Inverness Country Club. We'll talk to Klatt about all the big games and what is now becoming a crowded field of who makes the 12. Klatt's got thoughts on that. Tell us about Inverness.
Hey, maybe you relocated or retired. Inverness is a great place to network, great place to meet others in the community. Find your sense of community in Inverness Country Club, and they've got memberships that fit everyone, from the social to the golf. They've got that newly expanded driving range. Whatever your interests are, you can find it at Inverness. They even have a vineyard club. Maybe childcare is a big plus for you. You and your wife on a day of golf or tennis, guess what? You can drop the kid, go have yourself a day on the court or course. Best days happen in Inverness. To take a tour of this unbelievable club, call Erin, tell her the next round sent you, 205-991-8608. That's 205-991-8608, or online, iccalabama.com.
My apologies, it was second and goal. Miller had caught the pass, almost scored, then got stopped on first down, so it was second and goal.
Second and goal there.
Yep.
Brandon says, I'm rooting for BYU to make it to the playoffs and then get their ass kicked.
That will happen.
For national WD8 or WDB says, I tweeted yesterday that goal line photo was not straight down the line.
It was not.
Yeah, all these stuff. You guys are fantastic. Klatt on the other side. So, too, is Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. Nothing says, I feel so good on a Monday after a trip to Cajun country. They know I can go see Leslie and her board-certified team. Planforme.com is the website. Check out some job opportunities there as they continue to expand. Business is so good there. And they've got all the medical weight loss plans that are so popular right now. Leslie can help you with that. No contracts, no sign-up fees, and the first consultation's free. Planforme.com, planforme.com. It's Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Hey, you. It's the holidays. Give cheer a lift. And at New Balance Birmingham, we got the gift. That holiday vibe? Find it inside. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Let's face it, a home is one of the most powerful assets you can have, and our friends at Mortgage Right want to help you build wealth through home ownership. Mortgage Right is all about providing competitive rates, a variety of loan products, and a multitude of resources for a seamless home buying experience. They treat their borrowers like family and are always looking to bring more happy homeowners under their roof. See more by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR today and start living. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090. Hey, Lance Taylor from The Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
As Joel Klatt gets set up and ready to join us to talk about amazing football still ahead in college football, tell us about Odie's.
Odie's Tavern, 2 locations, the original Crestline, where we are every Wednesday night for Odie's Team Trivia, the newest location in Edgewood. Both locations always fantastic food, award-winning wings, delicious burgers, great sandwiches, chili, and much more. Stop in one of those 2 locations, ice-cold beer buckets full of the Bud Light. Go see Will Haver. It's Odie's Tavern.
Joel Klatt joins us now. College football on Fox, the Big Noon Kick, which has a fascinating game, Utah and Colorado this weekend. We will discuss that with him before he departs, but he joins us each week courtesy of mybookie.ag. Code next round when you sign on to double your initial deposit. What is up, Klatt?
Yeah, I'm right, Klatt. That's independent Utah playing Colorado now. They dropped out.
Big 12.
They dropped out of the Big 12, right?
Yeah, but apparently a new development. Mark Harlan, just athletic director of Utah, just blowtorching his new conference. It's fun times, man. I tell you what a time to be alive in college football. Huh?
What a time!
Lance and I are unified on this. Jim is slow playing it as not to landmine his favorite team, Alabama.
No.
But there are 2 times this year I've watched Alabama and I thought I'm watching the best team in the country. One was obviously against Georgia, and I thought another one was Saturday night. And I don't know that LSU's tremendous, Joel, but just the complete game Alabama played Saturday night, I felt like I was watching the best team in the country.
So I think a lot of that, you're not wrong. First of all, so they looked great, and what I'm starting to realize, like, college football is just changing so fast, guys, so fast, and there's more parity. You would agree with that, right? There's more parity in the SEC.
No doubt.
You know, any of the top 6 teams can beat anybody. Maybe top 7 teams can beat anybody, and then you'd still have to deal with teams outside of that. Vanderbilt, you still have to do. So there's more parity, which means similar to the NFL, I think the way that you look can be more matchup dependent than it is actually just who are you. You know, in the past, we could evaluate teams and not take into consideration really who their opponent was. You know, what did they do? How did they look? How did their offensive line play? So on and so forth. But I think that matchup now can create narratives that maybe like aren't exactly accurate. And I'm not saying that you're not accurate by saying Alabama is very good. They played tremendous, but the matchup was so favorable for them because LSU cannot stop a running quarterback. We talked about this. I think we talked about this. We should have. If I didn't, then shame on me. LSU has had so many problems with guys that could scamper. We saw it with Marcel Reed when he came into the game in that A&M game, just in one half and the damage he did. So the 185, yeah, it was high, but it wasn't totally a surprise from Jalen Milroe because he's the best athletic quarterback that we have in the country. I liked more so than that the defense. Because remember early in the year, remember when I told you guys, I was like, Alabama's defense is concerning. Like their structure, they give up too many big plays, a good passing game. I told you like they could be vulnerable during the course of the year. And so the way they played defensively was actually what I was more impressed with, more so than even what Jalen Milroe did, which was exquisite.
Yeah, I mean, going back and look, I know you can't take the half away against Tennessee, but, they shut Tennessee out that first half. So if you take those 2 quarters and the last 8 quarters against Missouri and LSU, they've given a combined 13 points.
That's right.
Yeah, when you're not giving up points and you've got a quarterback like Milroe, I agree with you on the point on the defense. Let me ask you this, too, because Dunaway brought it up earlier when we had Tyler Booker on. And Jalen Milroe, if you went back to October 19th against Tennessee, where he had 14 carries, 11 yards, and he was very hesitant. Yeah. And then what we saw on Saturday night, where he averages over 15 yards a carry against LSU, just completely gashing that defense for 184 yards. That's not physically the same guy, right? There had to have been something limiting him 3 weeks ago.
I don't know that to be a fact, but it's certainly a safe assumption, to your point. But I think it also goes to my point about matchup. Like, Tennessee's defense is way better than LSU. Like, vastly better. Tennessee and I think Texas are the two best defenses in the SEC. Tennessee might be the best. So, I think that has something to do with it as well. They're faster and more athletic in the defensive front than LSU. They're much better on the defensive line. They're much more disciplined in their rush lanes. There's nowhere to go for Milroe. Because they have length and athleticism, they can play structures of defense that limit the ability to execute designed quarterback runs. So Tennessee is just a much worse matchup for Alabama than LSU. This is why I took Alabama all day long with the 2.5. Weren't they given 2.5? And I was like, that's low, because the matchup just suggested. Now, I was 1-4 on the week, so it's not like I'm making great selections. Thanks a lot, Georgia. What was that?
Yeah,
by the way,
we're
sorry, I know you didn't ask about that, but like, what are we doing, Georgia?
Yeah. That's the question right now: is what is Georgia? Like, I don't even think I have a problem. They played a tough schedule and they've got a great win against Texas, but do they even hang on into the 12 tomorrow night? I guess so.
Probably, just because once you look past that, it's like, well, is Miami better than Georgia? Probably not. You're going to have like the brand issue with an SMU. You should. I thought you put it perfect. What is Georgia?
Yeah. Georgia
is this year, and this is going to sound like way worse than I intend it. Let's just take previous years. In previous years, the outlier moments were the moments of poor play from Georgia. Those were the outliers. They were a great team that threw up like these weird nights against guys like, remember at Missouri a couple of years ago, or like some of those Kentucky matchups. But those were outliers. Now this year, it's the opposite. The outlier are the quality moments. Second half Clemson, second half Bama, first half Texas. And other than that, what they are is an okay team. This offensive line is struggling really bad. Did you guys? I mean, I'm sure you guys know, and Lance, you do a good job with the stats. They're 50th in the country in total offense. They were a top 5 offense each of the last 2 years. They still have their quarterback. I watched the film from the Ole Miss game. I don't think it's a Beck problem. I know that he's, quote, turning the ball over, but guys, they are totally disconnected as far as the timing of their passing game, when he's ready to throw and when the pictures are actually developing from the wide receivers. So that's number one. The wide receivers are slow to develop, which leads to Beck holding the ball an extra beat, and then the protection's terrible. So now he's running for his life. The ball gets tipped, it gets intercepted, and everyone's like, 14 turnovers in the last 6 games. Now, have they all been circumstantial? No. And does he have to play better? Yes. But when you're out there and you're playing behind a bad offensive line, a wide receiver group that will not produce pictures on time, and when they do, they're having 3, 4, 5 drops a game. Like good wide receiver cores guys will drop 3 or 4 or 5 passes a year. They're doing it every game, like ejecto button on some of those pads. Now, are the conditions difficult? Yes, but this is a pattern. So I'm very concerned for Georgia's offense. They do not drive the field and score. Again, their lone touchdown was a 4th down touchdown when they got the ball on a short field because of a good quality defensive play. They don't drive the length of the field against good teams. They needed a trick play to do it against Texas, so they scored 30 points. Everyone's like, oh, that was really good. 23 of those were with short fields. They drove the length of the field one time. They needed a 43-yard trick play to do it. And Ole Miss, they don't drive the length of the field once. So now they're going to, and I get it, they're at home, but you're going to face a Tennessee defense that I just told you, and I think we would all agree, is a top 2 defense in the league. Do we really think Georgia's offense is going to play well this week? I don't think so. The bulk of the work, the past performance, which suggests future performance, would say no.
You can tell me this is stupid, and this is just something that I've been thinking about for a little bit, because we all know Nick Saban got out at the right time for him. The timing for some people, it was very interesting. We are in a new world of college football. You said it in a different way when we talk about the parity now, but you can't coach an athlete in 2024 like you could just a couple of years ago. And I just wonder if there's something with Brian Kelly at LSU and Kirby Smart. I mean, these guys are old school. They're very vocal. They're very hands-on. Do you think there's anything internally with today's athlete that can, you know what, if you coach me like I don't want to be coached, I can take my ball and I can go somewhere else? Do you think behind the scenes there's anything with that? Because I do think Nick Saban got out in front of this.
Not stupid. It's a good. That's a good question. I do believe that there are still players out there that want to be coached hard. The good ones do. The bad ones that you have to avoid are the ones that you cannot coach hard. Let me give you an example. I believe, and I know that Bama fans will hate this, but I believe Jeremiah Smith is the best young player in college football. I think Ryan Williams is also great. So let me preface this, okay? So don't throw this comment out just because I said Jeremiah Smith is so good. But when I talk with Brian Hartline, who's the wide receiver coach at Ohio State, and I talk to him about Jeremiah Smith, he says, like, I have to tone it down because he wants too much. Like, he goes, I have to pull him back because he wants all the coaching all the time. He wants me to criticize him. Coach, don't tell me it's a good job. And because of that, I think he's going to be a great player. Is that more unique now in college football? Probably. And I will tell you, it makes roster construction more important. To me, it's not about the players you get, but it's the players that stay. And if you can build a team that is coachable in the way that you want to coach them, that's where the sweet spot is. I believe that's what happened at Michigan last year. Guys, I'll tell you this. I was with that team. God, what did I do? 8 of their games last year. They wanted to be coached hard. You know what I mean, Lance? Like, the coaches couldn't coach them hard enough in like the best ways possible. So if you have a team or players that don't want that, you probably need new players, is I guess what I'm trying to say.
Listen, I know it's easy for us to talk about Georgia in a negative light without complimenting Ole Miss, but can I just ask you about Lane Kiffin? I thought it was his most mature coaching job he's done in a game because he took field goals and didn't press fourth downs. What do you think of that coaching performance from Lane and that Ole Miss team?
It was as an adult a performance as I've seen from Lane in maybe ever. And maybe the conditions had something to do with that. Maybe the enormity of knowing that his back was against the wall, that another loss puts them out of the playoff, knowing what they invested into this team from a roster construction standpoint and how well that they've done with NIL. Maybe it's the enormity of the situation where Lane finally realized, like, no, like this is going to work. And maybe, just maybe, it is, I know my defensive line is owning this game, and they're not going to score, and they're not going to drive the field to do it. So all of these points are more valuable. I'm not in a shootout, so I don't need 40 points. 28 might as well be 45 in playing Georgia, because they're not going to drive the field. And I think all of those things played a factor. But you're right. I thought that Lane did a great job, and more specifically, man, that defensive line, they owned Georgia. It looked awful. Georgia's offensive line looked awful, and all the credit has to go to Ole Miss because they were disruptive. They were active. What did they have? 5 sacks in the game, So I was very impressed, and now it made me kind of pause and look, like pull out of this situation a little bit and say, okay, 30,000 feet. They had the lead the entire game against LSU and then get beat late. They had multiple chances to win that game, and Lane was sick after that game. Sick. And you know why now? Because he knows that this is a team that really should be 9-1, and if they were, guys, they'd be ranked 4th in the country. Right? At a minimum, they would be in line to play for an SEC championship
if
game.
Vandegrift doesn't complete that 4th and 7 or whatever where they went up top.
The 4th and 7. You're exactly right. So we wrote this team off a little bit, I think, to our demise as the college football public. This is a really good team,
Joel Klatt with us, courtesy of MyBookie.ag. Code NEXTROUND doubles your initial deposit. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.ag. When you use code NEXTROUND, it doubles your deposit. Iowa State has lost back-to-back games, which now gives Colorado, your school, a clear path. They control their own destiny all the way up to a national championship. I am not going to be two-faced. I never in a million years thought we would be having this conversation about a Deion Sanders coach team. I doubt
you can pull the clip. I told you guys before the season this was an 8 or 9 win.
You got killed for it.
Yeah, we laughed behind your back. We were like,
Klatt. You laughed. No, behind my back. I've got video. I can see your smirks. You think you're hiding behind those microphones like this? I know what you're doing behind those hats. I see the smirks.
And this weekend might have been their best performance. And the reason I say this is it's a tricky place to play at night. It was an absolutely slow start where they get down double digits. They're 2 of 13 on third downs. They have 14 penalties, but they end up winning the game by double digits. So there was a lot of adversity inside of the game. I think personally they're the best team in the Big 12 right now.
Yes, that's not hyperbolic. That's absolutely the truth. And you referenced what I was just going to reference. They didn't do anything in the first quarter, and that was an emotionally charged place. Remember, Tech had just beaten Iowa State in Ames. Like, this is not a lowly place. It was like, oh, the crowd got up for one game for a 2-win Tech team. No. This is a Tech team that, if they won, were right in the thick of things, had only 2 losses themselves in Big 12 play. So they're right there. And Joe McGuire is a solid coach. The place is on fire, and the first quarter goes down the tubes for Colorado. It's 13-0. They haven't done anything offensively. They've given up 2 quality series from Texas Tech right down the field. It doesn't look good. And from that moment forward, guess what they did? They ran off a 34-7 stretch. 34-7 on the road against Tech. Like, that's impressive, guys. Their defensive line did to Tech what Ole Miss did to Georgia. You look up, they had 6 sacks and 10 tackles for loss, that Colorado front. They are real on defense. They totally stopped Texas Tech. They've got speed on the outside. Shedeur is very good. And then they messed around in the fourth quarter. So they throttle them in the middle 2 quarters. And then in the fourth, they start doing just, I don't want to get too frustrated, but like 8 minutes to go, you've got a 2-touchdown lead, and you get a short field, like, in the game.
Yeah.
And they're out there trying to get Travis Hunter the Heisman, and it's like, you don't need to force the ball to Travis Hunter for him to win the Heisman. He's going to win the Heisman if they get to the Big 12 championship game. You know why? He's 1 of 1. He played 170 snaps. 170,
it's
guys.
remarkable.
It doesn't sound real.
No, it really doesn't. I can't believe you had
It
170
doesn't sound
snaps.
real.
Yeah.
And he goes out there and he's got, nearly 100 yards. He's the best player on the field, 9 catches, 99 yards, a touchdown, 170 snaps. Now, the official tally is going to be lower than that. I go by PFF, which counts penalty snaps, because that's a snap.
That's right.
He went up and picked a ball off on a penalty snap, and so to me, it's 170. Travis Hunter will win the Heisman if Colorado makes it to the Big 12 championship game. So they don't need to force the ball to him. So they can start to try to play smarter in those fourth quarter situations than what they did. They allowed Tech an opportunity to try to win that game. And, I mean, thankfully for them, that didn't happen.
So it is the big noon kick, Saturday, 11 Central, noon Eastern, Utah and Colorado. What, if anything, and the answer may be nothing to either one of these, like just the natural observer would say, is the reaction that Utah gets all the calls now after that? Or is the reaction that Colorado's a national championship playoff contender? We got to protect them too, or is it none of the above? You would love to say it's none of the above.
Here.
I get it. I understand that.
It's a tough position. Generally speaking, the better teams in the conference get the calls.
Correct.
Which is the problem with conference-based officiating
Mm-hmm.
and conference-based replay. Miami has had some really beneficial replay sequences at the end of close games, right?
Yep.
BYU got the benefit of that call. So I do want to talk about that call because I think you guys will like this because you guys are sane individuals. So to me, that's a 50-50 call. It's a subjective call. Is it holding? Is it not holding on the Utah BYU game? I don't know, right? Like sometimes it is and sometimes it isn't. So there are people trying to be like, yes, it absolutely is. No, it absolutely isn't. They're both wrong. It's a gray area. It's like a strike zone. It's subjective, which means that it doesn't matter what was called. It matters what was called prior. What was established as the strike zone that day for the defensive backs. Because then if it rose to that level and is called, fine. But if it didn't, then we've got a problem. So it's more to do with consistency rather than letter of the law on the call. And we're talking about, if you're just joining us, the BYU Utah, the 4th down defensive holding penalty, not pass interference, but defensive holding penalty. Would have ended the game for Utah. They would have won. And they lost because this call gives BYU a 1st down. So here's what was called prior to that against Utah for the entirety of the game. 0 defensive pass interference calls and 0 defensive holding calls.
Wow.
Which means that that official is telling me that action rose higher than any contact during the course of the game, which I don't believe is accurate. So to me, it's a problem with inconsistency. So what did they call against BYU? 1 defensive pass interference call in the whole game, and that was in the first quarter. So you're telling me that was the most egregious defensive holding at any point in the game, and I disagree with that. So to me, it's not a wrong call or a right call. It's an inconsistent call, which is where the frustration should arise.
But and I'll add one more thing, is as the checks have gone up to these conferences, one way ESPN has done this is they've drastically reduced their level of production at these games. Some of these games are produced remotely. Some of them are student crews shooting them.
Right. To explain that to the non-TV people, the Big Noon Kickoff has a full-time crew of professionals,
Yes.
blah, blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah.
closer to
the
so
Herb
for
Street
instance,
game.
what you're trying to say,
Yeah.
like when we go to a game, Big Noon or ABC Prime or a CBS game, there are anywhere between 60 and 95 people on the crew. Every camera is operated by a human. There are mountains of tape machines. We have 2 trucks. We have EVS operators. We have tape producers. We've got an army of people there covering the game. A Remy broadcast means that the truck is actually not even on site. It's probably a 6 to 8 camera show, not a 16 to 18 camera show. So the looks are limited.
That's it.
And more importantly, there's probably only 2 tape operators and not 6 tape operators, which means that those 2 tape operators are trying to get the inputs of all 8 cameras and decipher what's going on in order to give replays. Now, I will say that the replay officials do have access to all the cameras, and they operate independently of the television's replay sequence that we see at home. But what they are beholden to is the number of cameras that production has.
That's right, and
so
it's
to
not.
me, when you're talking about this, it's about the level of production means the number of cameras.
And I'm not saying it's reviewable, but I'm saying as a fan watching that game, I had much rather have seen a replay where the guy drags him and tackles him to the ground, and I'm like, okay, you had to call that.
Yeah.
But the
And you
replay,
didn't.
but the
And by
replay
the
we
way,
get from a mile away because they've only got 6 cameras at the game.
And again, if they called that 4 times that night,
Exactly, yeah.
I would be like, okay, well, that's a hold. But the fact that they didn't, then it's not. Again, a strike in the 2nd inning can't be a ball in the 9th. and vice versa.
Just because of the moment of the game.
That's right.
Yeah, you can't get caught up.
That's right.
It's a big moment of the game. I'm going to call it different than I did any other time. You can't do that.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't do that. Again, it's about consistency, not letter of the law.
Okay, back to Colorado real quick, and I know this is pure speculation on your part, but Shedeur, Shiloh, Travis Hunter onto the NFL after this year. The speculation, what does Deion do? I don't know if you saw Micah Parsons completely do a drive-by on his coach, Mike McCarthy, after the loss yesterday, and it led Rex Ryan to talking about it's going to take a special coach under Jerry Jones. And he brought up the fact that, last night you saw Dan Campbell, a former Detroit Lion, is coaching his team and having a lot of success. D'Amico Ryans in year 2, a former Texans, having a lot of success. Deion Sanders to the Cowboys. I think the answer is yes, he would take the job. Do you think that would be a fit, and do you think this is his last year in Colorado?
I sure hope not. I don't know. I don't see a scenario in which Deion would go to the NFL to coach against Shedeur.
Interesting.
I could be wrong.
After yesterday, Shedeur could have started for the Cowboys. I think he's.
Here's the thing.
He's
I
better
think
than
Shedeur
Cooper
could
Rush.
start for half the league.
Yeah.
He's going to be a top 3 pick, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He'll be the number 1 quarterback taken. Absolutely. Right. The only question about Shedeur is going to be everything that comes with Shedeur. So Lance, it's a good question, man. I think that if Jerry came to Deion might entertain that and go do that. I don't know. He treats his players as he's the alpha, and he mentors them as kids. Does that work in the NFL?
No.
I don't know. Would he change that in the NFL? I'm not sure. He's not bringing. I'm not saying that he's not schematically intelligent, but he's not bringing like some sort of magical scheme with him. So his staff would have to be very good, which it is right now for college.
But I think one of their points, or Rex's point, is at least he's got instant credibility. Like, they're going to respect him. And I think that's the problem. When you have a coach that's not respected, I think you're seeing it in Chicago. You're obviously seeing it in Dallas. It becomes a disaster in season once you lose a couple of games.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm hemming and hawing because, I don't want to see this, guys. I want him at my school.
Well, I think
we worked hard to get him there.
Yeah. I think another good point is Nick Saban's way of being a head coach worked wonderfully in college, and it didn't resonate in that locker room at Miami. And I don't know. To your point, I don't know.
Well, they also chose Culpepper instead of Drew Brees.
Well, they did, but the biggest issue Saban had is he is undeniably the boss in Tuscaloosa.
That's right.
And he's in a locker room of a bunch of bosses in Miami, and he did not handle that well.
Yeah.
Well, and by the way, at Colorado, Deion might have, in theory, a boss. He don't have a boss.
Yeah. No, you're right. He's the alpha.
And that's the way Saban was.
That's the way Saban
that works.
Yeah.
And that
100%.
works.
It's the way Kirby
By the
is.
way,
The way
I
Kirby
know that
is.
we're running low on time here.
Keep
One
going.
point that I did want to make real quickly about the SEC, and you guys have already maybe made this point. I do think, and I think fans down there need to wrap their head around this. If you look up right now, 3 games left, I think there is absolutely going to be a 10-2 SEC team left out.
Yep. I agree.
And then becomes like, well, who is that?
Even beyond Missouri, because Missouri could still be 10-2, and it was absurd
I'm
it
not
was
even absurd for Drinkwitz with his we're in the playoff
absurd.
hunt. Oh my
No.
God.
but
what do you
Klatt,
do? They've been on the road twice in the SEC,
I know,
got beat
destroyed.
75-10 combined.
They're out of
get out of here.
More importantly, and I'm sure you've talked about this, you say a 10-2 will get left out. If there's a 10-2 that play for the SEC championship and they lose,
which is almost a given at this point.
I think that's different. I do think that that's different. 9-3 does not get you in. 10-2 does not guarantee you get in unless you're in that game. I don't think, and I'm trying to remain consistent here because for years I've argued that you should not be penalized for making the conference championship game.
And I agree.
Some team sits at home and then you get beat. That's not like they can't get an advantage because you qualified and went and got beat.
That's right.
Right. I mean, look, you're probably going to have 2 10-2s, and one of those teams is going to lose. And so I've said this all along.
Maybe 2 10-2s. Tennessee's got a chance to get there, and then the winner of that A&M Texas game has a chance to get there. So you could have 2 11-1s, but you could have 2 10-2s, which would be a mess. I don't even know the tiebreaker.
Yeah, I think
the
I would
17
rather.
What are we doing?
It's going to come down in the SEC to opponents' win percentage. SEC opponents' win percentage. Which,
well, that helps Georgia then, because their schedule has been brutal.
But I think right now
It helps
Alabama the most because Alabama's played.
Does it?
Yeah, I think Alabama's played Georgia, Missouri. Even though they're a fraud, they're still a good record.
Gross.
I know. LSU, South Carolina, Tennessee.
Oh, yeah. South Carolina's done a great job,
I know.
guys.
South Carolina's a good football team.
They've won 3 in a row.
Yeah.
I actually commended 2 teams. One of my favorite things about college football, and we never focus on it in November because we're always focused on the playoff. One of my favorite things about this sport is when a team and a program get better and they progress and they develop, and then they play much better at the end. It shows this determination and grit and teamness. There's 2 teams that I mentioned. South Carolina is one of them. They've lost some close games to good teams and continue to get better and better. And UCLA, guys, you might not I know they've lost a ton of games, but you look up the losses were like Indiana, LSU, Penn State, Oregon. Then they lost a close one to Minnesota, and now they've run off 3 straight wins. I love stories like that, and we don't focus on them enough in our sport, but UCLA, South Carolina, they've done a nice job.
And by the way, South Carolina, 12.5-point favorite against ranked Missouri this week.
Yeah, that's about to be over. Eli Drinkowitz,
dude.
I know. So silly.
Hey, but Deshaun Foster, 4-5, 3 games left. That includes Washington on the road this week, then USC at home, and then Fresno State at home. If he wins 2 of the 3, he's got that team in a bowl game.
Amazing turnaround.
That's remarkable.
Yes.
That is a remarkable year for them. Meanwhile, guess who might not get to 6? Nebraska.
Yep.
After all the pomp and circumstance, and they're sitting there and they're still sitting on 5 wins.
Friend of the show, Matt Rule. That's our guy, man.
Hugh Freeze in year 2 ain't getting to a bowl.
No, he's not.
No, he's not. Dude, that Missouri schedule from the jump has been gross.
Well, it's what we talked about. Like, they got a legit
means
shot at
we're in the
playoffs.
playoff hunt. Yeah. That's right. I said it, and I'm like, that is awful.
That's the dumbest thing that was said this weekend. All right,
I agree.
Big noon kickoff. It is a fantastic game. Utah at Colorado, 11 o'clock on Fox. Klatt, Gus, Jenny, the entire crew will be there. Thank you very much, Joel. Have a great week.
Appreciate you guys.
All right, buddy. Love it. Love it every week. That is Joel Klatt with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. He's presented each week by MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.ag. Code NEXTROUND when you visit MyBookie.ag.
Also by our friends at HydroLive LT.
IV therapy, B12 injections, cryotherapy, compression therapy, now weight loss therapy, all under one roof. Very important. When you get into one of those locations or you actually go online to hydrolifetherapy.com, mention the next round, 20% off all of those great services. 2 locations in Birmingham, Homewood, Highway 119 in Greystone, also a Tuscaloosa location. Again, very important. Mention the next round, 20% off all the great services. You can book online. They can actually have a nurse come to your home or business, hydrolifetherapy.com.
Yeah, and you guys, you're right, King, MJ205. LSU still has a shot at being in the SEC championship.
Oh, no, they're not dead because they got 2 conference losses.
That's right.
Yeah, it's a more difficult path for them.
Urology Centers of Alabama, urologycentersalabama.com. 35 urologists, 16 locations treating all your urological needs from prostate health to kidney stones, vasectomies, and anything. Guys, stay on top of your health. It's so important. Early detection. 205-930-0920, urologycenteralabama.com. Our stock report when we come back.
On Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
Bryant Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Are you tired of buying your CPAP mask and supplies online only to be disappointed? It's time to visit CPAP Plus, your locally owned and operated CPAP shop that prides itself on personal service. Come see what you're buying at CPAP Plus with 3 convenient locations in Pelham, Highway 280, and now open in Trustful. Drop by for a free CPAP checkup and free filters, no appointment needed. Plus, sign up for their giveaway for a chance to win a free travel CPAP machine. Just Google CPAP Plus or visit any of those 3 locations.
Hey, this is Matt Roth, the franchisee of Walk On Sports Bistro in Birmingham. With the kickoff of football season, come visit us at one of our 3 locations, Stadium Trace, Greystone, or Trussville. Come enjoy our scratch kitchen menu while watching one of our 80 TVs. Whether you're looking for a pre- or post-game celebration, game day, or date night, we've got you covered. It's all about the win at Walk On Sports Bistro. Walk On, where everybody needs a little playing time.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from The Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie-cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
In some places, football is a sport. In Alabama, it's a fine art. New Life Art is proud to announce Daniel A. Moore's upcoming painting, Deuces Wild. This season, Bama is blessed with a pair of very talented deuces. The pair played a huge role on both sides of the ball in the Tide's amazing 41-34 victory over number 2 Georgia. Deuces Wild will portray the unbelievable game-winning 75-yard touchdown catch by deuce number 1, Ryan Williams, late in the fourth quarter. The Dogs' last chance drive was stopped by deuce number 2, Xavier Brown, as he made the game-saving interception in the end zone, which will be celebrated by a small artist's remark in the bottom margin of each print. Go to danielmooreart.com to see the artist's preliminary sketch and take advantage of special pre-publication pricing for Deuces Wild. Also available, The Legend, Daniel Moore's final tribute to Coach Nick Saban. Order now at danielmooreart.com.
Thanksgiving is here, and let the New York Butcher Shop be the place to get all of your holiday meal items. Their premium turkeys are fresh, free-range, and hormone-free. The New York Butcher Shop also has a wide selection of chef-prepared side items to help save you time in the kitchen. Pick up a bottle of wine, and your meal will be complete. Turkeys are selling fast, so place your order today. 2 locations to serve you, in Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, a little behind here as we work our way towards overtime, coming up with Kalen DeBoer and Hugh Freeze in the 12 o'clock hour. LT later today with Brock Heward on Unlocked. If you miss anything from this morning's show, you can go back and catch Monday Morning Live in the middle 8. Brown with the Marcelo, me with Luganville. That's always up for you. And also, don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We appreciate that so much. At Next Round Live, Melton working really hard, getting that stuff out for you. Audio-wise, video-wise, always at YouTube. And we appreciate everything everyone's doing. EG's over in, I believe, Tuscaloosa today. And of course, Taylor Corn's got everything happening on social media at Next Round Live. At Next Round Live, remember, like, subscribe, and give us a thumbs up if you're watching on YouTube. This hour brought to you by our friends at Champy's, world-famous fried chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Get by there and see Sterling and the crew. Had some friends go by there on Saturday and talked about what a great first visit it was to the Alabaster location on Highway 119. Go by there and check out Champy's Chicken. Hand-cut chicken fingers, brined overnight chicken fingers, and Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. When you're back at work tomorrow or back at play this weekend, remember champyschicken.com. Stock report brought to you by McCurry. Brownie will tell us about McCurry now. We'll jump into who's up and who's down in college football. Tell us about McCurry before he hits the big button.
McCurry Rentals is where you go for all the van and car rental needs, the passenger vans, SUVs, cars, trucks, whatever you need at McCurry. You can get it there. Easy to rent. In and out fast. Locations in Athens, Muscle Shoals, Huntsville, Coleman on 2nd Avenue Northwest, Skyland Boulevard in Tuscaloosa. Reserve your rental today. 256-559-1003. That's 256-559-1003 or McCurryRentals.com. That is McCurryRentals.com.
The College Football Spotlight.
Stock up, stock down. College football stock report.
All right, LT, start us off, man. What do you got?
Going all SEC here. My stock up is going to be Alabama's defense. Over their last 8 quarters, they've only given up 13 total points. They've forced 6 turnovers. And to me, just watching week in and week out, it has turned into close to a top 10 defense right now in college football. That could be deadly if Milroe continues to play like he played on Saturday night in Baton Rouge.
That Q Robinson injury is a bad one, though. And there are reports he's done for the year. And that's tough right there. That guy was having a good year.
Georgia offense, 9 turnovers their last 3 games. They couldn't run the football this past week. Only 59 total yards rushing, 10 points against Ole Miss. I think Carson Beck, you heard Joel Klatt say it's not just a Beck problem, but I do think Beck has got some issues right now between the ears. The offensive line is not playing great, and they really don't have a bunch of playmakers. So Georgia's offense down, Alabama's defense up.
What do you got, Brownie?
My stock up, Golding and Kiffin. Best coaching year for Pete Golding, best coaching game for Lane Kiffin. Best game he's ever coached as the Ole Miss coach. My stock down is Iowa. We had a surprise party we were going to Friday night, but it started a little bit later, so I was stuck at home for a minute. So I watched some of that Iowa UCLA
Didn't miss
game.
much.
No, I watched it, Lance.
That's tough.
Yeah, I did, and don't ask me why. Why I didn't just go to college basketball and say these basketball games are more entertaining. I should have.
Well, they held Caleb Johnson to 49 yards.
Yeah, I mean it's just a bad Iowa football team, and I don't understand it. They actually this year have had some offense, and they've gotten worse. It's stock down for me. I like to the point I think people are starting to talk about Kirk Ferentz buyout, and I thought that guy was calling his shot out of town.
Yeah, I mean with this schedule, look, and I know they're down to their 3rd string quarterback as well, and it's difficult to win games even against UCLA. But Iowa had a double-digit lead in this game. Yep. And then their offense completely falls apart, and it looked like the adjustments to Sean Foster and his coaches were able to make. I mean, that was the difference in the game.
Yeah, that was the other side of that, was UCLA looking so good. My stock up continues to be Jeremiah Smith of Ohio State. I want you to take this stat into consideration. Chris Carter, who was a receiver, great in the NFL, a receiver at Ohio State, held every freshman passing receiver record in Ohio State history until Saturday when Jeremiah Smith broke all of them. There have been 11 first-round Ohio State wide receivers drafted in the first round between Chris Carter and Jeremiah Smith, and none of them as freshmen broke Chris Carter's record. 11 first-round guys, none of them did.
A lot of good guys have come through there. He may be the best.
45 catches, 765 yards receiving, 9 touchdowns with at least 4 games to go, breaking all of Chris Carter's record. His stock continues to go up. He's a special player.
Yeah, and by the way, on that point too, Will Howard has been really good, but he is not some of the elite quarterbacks we've seen in the past at Ohio State.
No, if he had C.J. Stroud and those guys, imagine.
Yeah.
Or Justin Fields.
And stock down to the Ole Miss students. One goalpost made it out okay from Vaught Hemingway. The other one, some brilliant frat guy was trying to take the goalpost to the top of the student section and then was going to throw it over the top.
Okay, that's a bad idea.
Not dangerous at all.
On the other side of the student section, there's a football at the Manning Center. You could go right through the roof.
Could.
Or if you don't make it to the roof of the Manning seat, it becomes a projectile right into humanity below and would kill people. Luckily, the PA announcer, per Barrett Salih, who was telling the story, got on the PA announcer and said, "Please do not throw the goalpost out of the stadium." If you look at Molly McGrath, though, the one they did get out of the stadium, they didn't care about getting arrested. They took it directly to the Oxford Police Department and planted it in the front of the Oxford Police Department. So hats off. Let's carry it to the square. And I tell you what, We'll just plant it right here in front of the old Oxford Police
Well,
Department.
they're not used to doing this. I don't know if you could tell that they had to bring everybody back off the field and bring them back on the field.
Yeah, the old early rush.
Yeah, don't
right?
even know exactly when they're supposed to storm the field.
Yeah, well, they didn't pick up on the fact that was a turnover on downs, and Ole Miss was at least going to have to take one knee.
Yeah.
Which Kirby would have been just fine if you let us walk off the field and run the clock.
Let's just go ahead and go. Here's the plan at the old Oxford Police Department in the square downtown.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, we'll just go ahead and put this here. You guys are going to want this back probably. Lane Kiffin, by the way, has a sliced up piece for his office. He's got it part there.
Well,
their biggest win in Oxford ever.
I think it's their biggest school win ever personally. Now, I said that going into the game's biggest game they've ever played as an Ole Miss fan, or as an Ole Miss team, in my lifetime at least, biggest game they've ever played. I think it's the biggest win in school history. How do they handle it now?
Well, I think it's big they have a bye week.
Yeah, I think that definitely helps. Yeah. You would hate to be having a trap game right now.
And you have a crappy schedule. Somebody in Mississippi State, I have it written down somewhere.
If you give me 2 seconds, I can pull it up.
I've already got it written down, but I can't find it, Brownie.
State has not gotten a ton better. They had some moments in
Florida, Mississippi State.
Yeah,
bye week, Florida, Mississippi State.
Is Florida and Oxford? Do you have that?
I don't have that. No.
The Florida game that's in Gainesville, an 11 a.m. kick, though.
Lagway could be back.
Lagway could be back, but I'm telling you, next to last week for Florida, that's their last home game. What do you think that crowd's going to be like? I mean, it's a beat-down crowd base, a beat-down fan base. 11 a.m. kick.
They probably close this thing out and go 10-2. What would they have to have happen for them to get to Atlanta?
Well, again, now this is really, really complicated because it's probably going to come down to conference win percentage.
Right.
And that still has to take into account what the rest of the teams on your schedule do the rest of the month of November. Right. So it's going to be very difficult to project this if it's going to come down to that tiebreaker.
A lot of dead wood still out there for the tiebreakers. We got to get some more data in there when it's all said and done. Like right now, Alabama's only conference team with a losing record is Auburn.
That's right. But they haven't played them yet, so you don't factor that into conference win percentage.
Tell us about Gray's Tree Service. They'll take care of the dead wood in your life.
Yeah, family owned and operated for over 25 years. Experts in high-risk tree removals, pruning, soil health treatment to strengthen those trees and plants. I had the guys come out a few months ago, and they extracted 4 dead pines from my lot. They can do the same for you guys. Trusted by nearly every golf course in town, the Birmingham Zoo. No competition. 205-281-6100. You can scan that QR code or visit graystree.com.
Okay, so I got a couple of scenarios for the college football rankings, and again, it doesn't matter. I only care about the first one and the last one, but it's going to be interesting on what they do with the SEC tomorrow night. And again, it doesn't matter. There'll be more data points to throw in there. Pretty easy at the top. It'll stay Oregon 1, Ohio State 2, right? That won't change.
That should not change.
Yep.
Right. Yep. Number 3 and number 4 lost. Number 5 was Texas.
There'll be 3.
I got no problem moving Texas up to 3.
Yep.
Then comes Penn State. If you just stay in order at 4, I think Indiana will jump up to 5 because they beat name brand Michigan, though it was, was probably their biggest brand win of the year so far, right?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, yes is the answer to that question.
Yeah.
I mean, didn't do a ton for me, but
they've got a bye week and then Ohio State.
Yeah.
Then I got Tennessee sliding in at 6.
That's funny the way you said it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm all right with you so far.
I said Tennessee. I didn't mean to. Tennessee sliding in at 6. Notre Dame at 7. They still only have that one loss. It's a brutal loss, but they've only got one.
It's a terrible loss, and their best win is Texas A&M.
They are playing a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, they destroyed Florida State. Okay, all right, I'll give you Notre Dame at 7. Keep going.
Then I've got Alabama at 8.
I think that's where Alabama should be. Actually, I think they're better than some of the teams in front of them, but they also have 2 losses, so that complicates it.
And then here's what you don't know what to do, right? Like, I don't know what to do with Georgia. I don't know what to do with Boise State. I don't know what to do with BYU. I don't know what to do with Miami. I don't know what to do. Did I say Ole Miss?
You did, but I would put Ole Miss next after Alabama.
I put Ole Miss next after Alabama, Brown at 9, and they've lost to Kentucky.
They have, but I'm not ranking this on what they have done. I'm ranking this on what they're doing right now. At least that's the way I would do it. I would have Ole Miss number 9. I think I would probably have Georgia 10.
We got Georgia 10. You and I are spot on right now.
I think I would
go Boise here.
I've got Boise
I'm
11.
inclined to go Boise State there at 11, and at 12.
So these are the teams that I have left for you to choose.
I would go SMU at 12.
I think I was going to go SMU.
SMU, Miami, BYU, Texas A&M are the
All right, so
the
here's
next
what
four.
complicates it. BYU's undefeated, and Lance, they have beaten SMU. That complicates it.
Yeah.
But if this is part of having a committee. If they played today, I would like SMU to beat
and especially
BYU.
at home. That was Preston Stone was starting, not Jennings. The offensive line was kind of patchwork at that point. It's gotten a lot better. SMU is a different team right now, and I do think BYU was even playing better back then.
Yeah,
I put BYU 12 though because of the win over SMU.
I would have SMU in front of them. I think it's going to sort itself out. BYU's not good enough to be in this thing.
Yeah.
They are going to lose a game. That's going to sort itself out.
But that drops no ACC teams in the top 12.
I don't think they deserve to be there. I mean, I would have SMU there, but that's the one I think deserves.
Yeah, I don't think there's an ACC or a Big 12 team that is one of the top 12 teams in college football.
So they're one bid leagues now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I think
so
the Miami
too.
loss took care of that. The
I
Miami
think so,
loss made the ACC absolutely a one-bid league. There was no doubt about that. And probably the Iowa State loss is.
And I think the BYU win, this might sound crazy, but even if they were to get to that game and lose the game in a tight game.
So controversial?
Yeah.
Yeah, the way they won that game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But see, that's just it. We're heading towards that ACC championship that still feels like it's going to be one loss Miami, one loss SMU.
Maybe one loss Clemson. Don't discount that.
Maybe. It's
I
just,
mean, Clemson caught a huge break on Saturday.
two loss Clemson, one in the ACC.
Well, I mean,
in
one
Georgia.
conference loss, yeah.
It just feels like then we're going to have to contradict ourselves on don't punish a team that's in its conference championship game. And I think when we say that, we got to say you can't punish the SEC team that's in the SEC championship game.
Yeah, because
right?
I don't think this is going to impact the Big Ten too much. There's 4 clear-cut teams in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
And I just don't think it's going to really impact them. So I don't think we're going to have any sort of discussion about, you can't punish a Big Ten team for being in their conference championship.
Because
I don't think it's going to
And
matter.
I don't think a lot of people like rematches, but I think people are going to love watching Ohio State, Oregon.
Absolutely. I agree 100% with you.
I just believe that I'm going to factor in the Big Ten too, that the two power players in these power conferences with all the brands, you can't punish me for being in the championship game. And that includes the SEC and most years when the Big Ten is deeper, the Big Ten. Now, the Big Ten, after those 4, Brownie, there's a lot of hot nothing.
Oh, Iowa's the next team in their standings.
Yeah.
Just to show you how quickly it falls off as you go from the group that includes Oregon, Ohio State, Penn State, Indiana, Iowa's your next team.
Yeah.
But it is almost a certainty that we're going to have a 2-loss SEC team in a conference championship game. So the thing we've always discussed is going to be tested year 1. Does that 3rd loss, if it comes in an SEC championship game, disqualify you from the playoffs?
It makes it so much easier for this committee that the Big 12 and the ACC are struggling.
I agree. That gives them another spot.
We never had a 2-loss team in the 4-team playoffs, but Auburn would have been there that year.
If they had beaten Georgia in the conference championship.
Georgia after beating Georgia and Alabama and had to play Georgia again.
Correct.
Auburn would have been that 2-loss team that would have been in there.
That is correct.
If they'd won that game.
And it turned out that it was Alabama that got in there because Auburn lost.
Yep.
I tell you what would help the committee. And anytime college football does something that could blow up in their face, it's like somebody rushes in at the last minute and defuses the bomb, and college football gets away with it. What would help the committee a lot is if USC beat Notre Dame. Because you've already cleaned out any chance of an ACC 2 team, a Big 12 2 team, so you've dodged that bullet. Now, if Notre Dame would get cleaned out for them, this would entirely open it up for them just to put in a bunch of teams and be fine with it.
I think it will happen.
You think USC will beat Notre Dame?
I do, yeah.
Well, if USC beats Notre Dame, Dunaway, this committee can take some time off because now you can put in 5 SEC, the 4 Big Ten that matter.
Well, I don't know if you noticed when we just did it, we had 5 SEC teams in it.
Well, then
with Texas A&M just on the outside.
But if A&M beats Texas,
then A&M's up. You're not going to drop Texas all the way out then.
Texas has got the weakest argument.
They do.
And Lance has said it multiple times. Texas could end this season, and their biggest win is Vanderbilt, Lance. And they've lost to Georgia, and they've lost to Texas A&M at that point. Of all the 2 losses, Texas would have the weakest argument,
I think you saw Quinn Ewers' best game this past weekend, though.
You did, absolutely.
So I think if Ewers plays like that, Texas is going to be a handful. You know what's crazy? If Michigan loses to Northwestern, which they probably won't, still on the table. They don't go bowling this year.
I know. That's going to be
How you go from 15 wins to 5 wins?
It's going to get overshadowed by what Florida State's going to do to go from 13 wins to 1 or 2.
To maybe 1 win.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the TV schedule this week, the big games are in the SEC.
It's a bad schedule.
I mean, this is. I don't know what you can do about it, but boy, I wish in November it would be better than this.
Yeah, well, you could mandate that you play only conference games in November by filling out the conference schedule with conference games.
So that would give you a better game for Texas A&M, for instance, Alabama, for instance.
Yeah.
Well, I wish we could move these times. I mean, if Texas Arkansas was at 2:30, it would be a lot better.
Do you think that's going to be a game?
Texas Arkansas
2:30 maybe.
Texas Arkansas 11 a.m. on ABC. The 2:30 game is LSU Florida on ABC, and then the prime time is Tennessee Georgia. Potentially an elimination game for Georgia.
I mean, Tennessee Georgia is an exciting game, but honest to goodness, outside of that, the whole day is just I want more.
Yeah, Wisconsin could have something coming off a bye for Oregon.
Yep, that's 6:30 NBC, Oregon and Wisconsin.
In Madison, right?
Missouri will officially be done after their game in Columbia, South Carolina this week.
I think there is I won with them this past week in our upset alert. By the way, LT and I with outright winners this past week. His worth a little bit more points than mine did because we went off with Tuesday's number, not with Friday's number. 3 extra points for you because when you made the pick, Haynes King was not out there. I think it was 11.5 then. By the time that game kicked, wasn't it down to 8.5?
8.5, yeah.
So LT got the big win with Georgia Tech, but I had Virginia. Well, who does Virginia? Sneaky Virginia, who's getting hot right now. Who do they play this week?
Who do they play this week?
They're in South Bend against Notre Dame.
Oh, what is the number on that game?
It's enough.
Just beat Pitt.
It's enough for me to consider doing Virginia back-to-back
and
weeks.
there's some sneaky quiet games at 11 o'clock. That's what I don't like is, Tulane Navy. Now, right now, Army is the second team behind Boise, but if Tulane wins this, you've got 9 straight wins for John Summerall, now ranked.
They're favored 6.5.
Yeah,
They're favored 6.5 in Navy.
Tulane is a much better team than Navy is right now, but that could be an important game. And then the other one, obviously, Utah, Colorado, but Clemson-Pitt. I agree with you on Clemson. They're having to play tough games. That was a tough game where a 7-point game at halftime, and then they ended up blowing out Virginia Tech in the second half. But, that would be a nice win for Clemson going on the road and knocking out Pittsburgh.
For friend of the show,
Virginia is a 22.5-point underdog. Now, those are the types of games Marcus Freeman has lost. I will point that out.
If you see the cross swords in the V again tomorrow on my show.
Don't be surprised.
I think Tony Elliott's won 3 in a row.
No, Virginia has played improved football. There's no doubt about that. And there was a controversial moment in that game against Pittsburgh, too. I don't know if you guys saw it.
Should I leave that for the Brown Bandit just to get you back in the race?
So you're giving charity to the Brown Bandit now?
I'm just saying. Tis the season.
His proud history, you're going to give him charity?
Tis the season.
Is the Brown Bandit Brian Kelly bitching and moaning about somebody blitzing on him when he's got his starter still in? Is that who the Brown Bandit has become?
Well, I just figured that since you covered this past week, the Brown Bandit covered.
On a Tuesday night game.
To pick up a measly 5 points, I figured you would say, you'd pull an Eli Drinkwitz and say, you know what that did? Keep me in the championship hunt.
That's right. I can do anything now.
Yeah. Sneaky game.
Who? Virginia.
Virginia.
You got to sell me hard on this. Lance, do you feel it?
Sneaky game.
I don't. Right now, I don't.
22.5. Normally, when Marcus Freeman loses these, it's a MAC team. It's not an ACC team.
Yeah.
But maybe he can't tell the difference. Maybe he doesn't know.
Yeah. By the way, for our friend of the show, John Summerall in Tulane, I don't see Boise State losing, but tough trip to San Jose State for them.
Yeah.
That's a sneaky tough game for
would
Boise
agree.
State.
Yep. We had the Spartans plus the points this week against Oregon State. They had a terrible pass interference call. I don't know if you guys saw that. Nick Nash, who's one of the better receivers in football that nobody talks about at San Jose State. Coach Ken went absolutely ballistic.
He got fined or publicly reprimanded. I don't know if he got fined, but he got publicly reprimanded.
That was an awful call.
Yeah.
Awful.
Yeah. Sneaky stat here. When LT uses the highlighter Sharpie, he's not lost this year on the upset alert.
Who's in play for the highlighter? San Jose.
San Jose State.
I honestly think, and I know Lance is going to disagree with me, but I honestly think Tulane's better than Boise.
Oh, I don't necessarily disagree.
You don't really? I thought you would.
Yeah,
I mean,
Boise had kind of their off game this past week against Nevada. The way Tulane is playing, just complete.
Now, I don't think they're going to be in front of them in the rankings because they've got the 2 losses, but I think Tulane's the better of the 2
teams. And this
teams.
is an example of a team like Tulane, moving forward, if you're John Summerall, do you really want to schedule 2 games like you had out of conference.
Yeah, because
against
Oregon only played
Oklahoma and
one.
Kansas State. Yeah, if you only had one right now, I think it would be like, which one of these teams really is better? It becomes a really difficult decision, but it's going to be easy with Boise with 1 loss and Tulane with 2.
Yep.
Unless Boise loses this week to San Jose State. Michelson Laser Vision bringing you part of the show today. We'll get to trash coming up on the other side and overtime later at 12 noon with the DeBoer and Freeze news conferences.
And by the way, I think Tulane would beat both Kansas State and Oklahoma right now.
Oh, if they played them again.
Yeah.
Yep.
So girlfriend Maddie went to see the fine folks at Michelson on Friday.
What was
got
the
screened
diagnosis?
out. Well, she's definitely got to get glasses, trying to figure out there are some other issues, so maybe can't get the LASIK done.
That's me.
Yeah. And look, and that's the credibility, the integrity of the Michelsons. They're going to let you know. They're not just going to do a cash grab and say, you know what, we can fix you. If you're not a candidate for LASIK, they're going to let you know. Do you actually know a family member, you or a family member, need to make your benefit selection at work now? Do you know your FSA or flex spending can be used to help you see clearly without the hassle of glasses or contacts? LASIK and Michelson Laser Vision might be a good choice for you. Book your free consultation today with Dr. Jen Michelson, Dr. Mark Michelson. Find out if you can use your FSA or Flex Plan funds to get freedom from the hassle of glasses or contact lenses. Call this number, 205-969-8100. Tell them the next round sent you. Ask for Amy for more information, michelsonlaservision.com.
And our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken, champyschicken.com, Highway 119 in Alabaster. That's Sterling right there, and that's all the great food. The sides are terrific. Tyler loves the baked beans. Melton on the back row loves the potato salad with that cayenne pepper drizzled on the top. Slaw, LT loves the slaw with that Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. I drove through the Mississippi Delta, and I looked out my window, and I said, I can't see a better tamale than they have at Champy's. champyschicken.com, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Back in a moment.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
Buying that perfect home is one of the most important financial decisions you'll ever make, so it's crucial that you have the right partner to help you through the process. Hi, I'm Lisa Zeig, Vice President Mortgage Loan Officer for Bryant Bank, and I'm here to tell you that we are that partner, making it easy to buy with confidence. We offer a variety of mortgage products to fit your unique home buying situation. That kind of hassle-free approach might not be what you'd expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give me a call today or visit one of our 18 offices across the state of Alabama and let me show you what banking beyond expectation is all about.
Hey, you. It's the holidays. Give cheer a lift. And at New Balance Birmingham, we got the gift. That holiday vibe? Find it inside. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280 right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham. We got now.
If renting is putting a dent in your bank account, here's your sign from the universe that it's time to buy a new home. And who better to help you through the ins and outs of home buying than our friends at Mortgage Right. With Mortgage Right, you don't have to worry about becoming a short notice mortgage expert because they do all the heavy lifting for you. They're trusted mortgage professionals and they'll help you choose the right mortgage option and stand by your side every step of the way. Visit mortgageright.com/TNR to buy before renting runs you dry. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
In some places, football is a sport. In Alabama, it's a fine art. New Life Art is proud to announce Daniel A. Moore's upcoming painting, Deuces Wild. This season, Bama is blessed with a pair of very talented deuces. The pair played a huge role on both sides of the ball in the Tide's amazing 41-34 victory over number 2 Georgia. Deuces Wild will portray the unbelievable game-winning 75-yard touchdown catch by deuce number 1, Ryan Williams, late in the fourth quarter. The Dogs' last chance drive was stopped by deuce number 2, Xavier Brown, as he made the game-saving interception in the end zone, which will be celebrated by a small artist's remark in the bottom margin of each print. Go to danielmooreart.com to see the artist's preliminary sketch and take advantage of special pre-publication pricing for Deuces Wild. Also available, The Legend, Daniel Moore's final tribute to Coach Nick Saban. Order now at danielmooreart.com.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. On game day, you never have to decide which teams to watch, only what combination of bites, burgers, wings, and more to order. Plus, where else are your favorite draft beers always poured at a frozen 29 degrees? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late-night bites. Only at Twin Peaks.
Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on the Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at the Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
Here at the Next Round, we love our guests, especially our 2024 football regulars. Auburn, Alabama fans, we've got your guys. On Mondays at 9:25, we'll be joined by Alabama offensive lineman Tyler Booker, and Tuesdays at 9:25, we chat with Auburn quarterback Peyton Thorne. Join us and rep your team.
Are you tired of buying your CPAP mask and supplies online only to be disappointed? It's time to visit CPAP Plus, your locally owned and operated CPAP shop that prides itself on personal service. Come see what you're buying at CPAP Plus with 3 convenient locations in Pelham, Highway 280, and now open in Trussville. Drop by for a free CPAP checkup and free filters, no appointment needed. Plus, sign up for their giveaway for a chance to win a free travel CPAP machine. Just Google CPAP Plus or visit any of those 3 locations.
Dr. B bringing us part of the show here as we get ready for already week 12 of college football. And as LT said, 2 weeks from Thursday is Thanksgiving already. So you start thinking about maybe a gift you can give yourself or someone in your life. How about life-changing treatment from our friend Dr. B?
Yeah, hey, look, the gift of hair. Look, other cosmetic procedures obviously available there for more than 20 years. Women and men have turned to Dr. Beckenstein for a range of cosmetic and reconstructive procedures. He will use his advanced training, his experience, genetic testing to help his patients fully understand the procedures they are considering. Call Dr. B today, 205-319-0316. That's 205-319-0316. I did that non-invasive treatment on the couch watching the Texans dominate the first half. And Jerry Goff survives not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 interceptions.
It's hard to do in the NFL.
First time since 1970 when they started keeping the stat that a quarterback threw 5 interceptions, trailed by more than 14, and come back and won the game.
To be fair, one was into the half Hail Mary.
Yeah, it was.
Shouldn't count.
It shouldn't count, but still, 4 is crazy.
I heard Collinsworth say it should not be a stat, like that should be pulled off.
I kind of agree.
That's right. Should be a team interception.
But do you pull the touchdown off?
That's true. You do not do that. Jack State found out. Jack State hit a Hail Mary.
Oh, my gosh.
And then missed the extra point.
That is correct, and had to win it overtime.
The non-invasive treatment, 3 times 30 minutes each time on the couch, that is all I'm doing. And the hair has more than doubled in thickness. Make that call today, 205-319-0316 or T3hair.net.
We talked about Alabama's big win over LSU. That was a lot of best. So too Auburn basketball's win over Houston. That was a lot of best. A couple other best and worst before we do trash, Brownie.
My best. It was a tough moment, but it was so cool to see it after all this transpired over all these years. On game day Saturday morning, they were going to let Kirk Herbstreit honor his dog Ben, who passed away, and Herbstreit couldn't even talk. And Reese had to step in and fill it. But over all these years, the way Herbstreit has basically treated Lee Corso like his dad, and Lee Corso has struggled through some tough times on the air, and Herbstreit is always there to reach out and hold his hand, bail him out or whatever. When Herbstreit couldn't talk, it was just a small moment, but Lee Corso reached over and patted him on the shoulder. That really got to me. I was like, man, that is such a cool relationship those two have.
I saw that video.
Just to see Corso kind of return the favor that Herbstreit's done over all these years was really, really cool. So that was my best of the weekend.
I think it was one of Ben's puppies that was with Herbstreit.
Yeah, I saw that.
Or one of his brothers. I don't know the relationship, but he had another dog with him already. Looked identical to Ben.
Just to see Corso, though, as much as Herbstreit has had to do that for Corso over the last 4 or 5 years.
Livy Dunn's going to hang on to Skeens. Is she ain't letting go.
Boy, that was a crowded set. I mean, they couldn't fit.
Isn't that crazy that you think that that Kelsey and Taylor are made. It's a made up thing, but that they're really in love and she's going to hang on and they'll get married. Do you think?
Oh, I don't know about that. I'm saying she needs to because her 15 minutes or whatever, it's going to burn quick.
If she's back for another year. She's making $5 million. She made $5 million last year, proven. Like
no, I get it. Has she ever put a leotard on though? Like have you? I have never seen like one clip of her doing anything.
I don't know anything about college gymnastics, but I think the only reason she wasn't participating is because she was injured.
Yeah.
Like I think now that she's not injured, she is back. I don't know.
Speaking of injuries, if Skeen stays healthy, he could end up being one of the best to ever play it. This guy is going to print money for the next 15 years if he stays healthy.
Stick with him.
So, yeah, look, I mean, I would think if he didn't have the fastball he's got, she wouldn't be with him right now. But hold on tight. And no, Adam, you're right. She was not impressive at all.
Yeah, I think.
Did they run a teleprompter for her?
Trash is right here. Let's do it, man. Mortgage Right brings you trash every day. And Tyler has spun the wheel today. What's the open today, Tyler?
After the break, we're going to interview Eric Weihenmayer, who climbed the highest mountain in the world, Mount Everest. But he's gay. He's blind.
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
And we are always proud to partner with the mortgage professionals, our friends at Mortgage Right. Mortgage is done the right way, whether you're looking for your first home or your final home. It's absolutely no cost or obligation. Just to find out more from the mortgage experts, 205-900-7200, mortgageright.com/TNR, NMLS 2239, equal housing lender. So you guys tell me if this sounds like a really good movie. A killer hippo horror movie is in the works. Okay. And it sounds like an awful lot like a twisted take on the classic board game, Hungry Hippos.
Well, I mean, the freaking movie you guys are excited about, it looks like it's a rhinoceros that's running out in the new Gladiator. In the clip I saw last night.
Did they have a rhinoceros in the old Coliseum? Was that?
I think that is factual. I think they used to try to ride them.
I don't know.
I'm not sure about that. They also have one scene in this one where the Coliseum fills with water and there's sharks. So I don't think they're
that doesn't seem historically accurate.
I did not see that. There really is sharks?
Yes.
Yeah. So you're not going to watch it now?
I mean, the CG rhinoceros I saw last night in a clip during Yellowstone, which was horrible. It was horrible, a horrible CG.
Well, no, wait a minute. Okay,
CGI,
can I call a timeout, please? You're saying in Hungry it fills with sharks, or in
Gladiator 2, the Coliseum fills with water and sharks.
There's no way they do that.
There's no way the shark part. You can't be serious about
You're
that.
not
I've
serious
seen the
about
water.
Wasn't
I
it
can
in
get
the
past the
trailer?
water.
I don't know.
I did not see a shark.
Tim sees every trailer.
I think Sharknado 3 has got you.
Tim, is this true?
I cannot confirm that I saw sharks in the trailer, but I do hope there are hungry hippos at some point making an appearance.
Well, that's a totally different movie.
So, according to Variety, a new survival thriller called Hungry being launched at the American film market by Signature Entertainment. The film comes from filmmaker James Nunn of the one-shot action thriller franchise. Per the report, Hungry will follow a group of tourists on holiday who find themselves fighting for their lives against a rampaging hippo after they end up lost in the Louisiana swamplands. I don't think they're indigenous to Louisiana, are they?
Hippos?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah. No, they're not. I say that very sarcastically.
Tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
Do we even have them in the United States?
No.
Outside of zoos?
Outside of zoos, no.
Okay.
No casting information was released. While the film is not connected to Hasbro's iconic Hungry Hippos game, one can't help but get some general vibes from the premise. Interestingly, while Hungry is no way affiliated with Hasbro, at one point a movie officially based off the game was in development. Back in 2012, it was reported that Hasbro had signed a deal to make Hungry Hippos based on a film version of the game there.
Well, here we go.
Here's the headline. This is from the Telegraph.
Swords, sandals, and ... sharks? Critics sharpen their spears over Gladiator 2 inaccuracies. The Ridley Scott film released later this month shows predators swimming in a flooded Coliseum as well as combatants riding a rhino. I wouldn't be okay. I'd be okay with combatants riding a rhino. That could have happened.
Yeah, that part could have happened. And they did used to fill the Coliseum with water at some points to practice like naval battles and reenact
I
those
doubted
for
that
the
part,
crowd.
but okay. But sharks?
No, I was getting
Sharks
past
did
the
not
water
happen.
too.
Yeah.
But you can't have the sharks in there.
I don't care one bit about the historical inaccuracies of Gladiator 2. Give me a good time at the movie theater. That's all I want.
Well, I'm kind of with you, but I think this is
I think
a little
sharks
much
a little bit
here.
too much.
Laser beams on their heads. That's what I want.
I just thought the first film was fantastic. fantastic for everything. I thought the CGI at that point, when you've got a dead Oliver Reed and you're able to, finish his scenes. I thought the acting was great. Joaquin Phoenix, best he's ever been. I don't care what the Joker fans say. And I thought the dialogue, I thought the script was incredible, everything about it. I can't have sharks in this. Can't.
Lance is out.
Yellowstone was horrible last night.
Yeah, what? So I've seen a lot of people say that, and you can't give it away, but...
So Beth did not go missing for good.
Yeah,
that would have been an upgrade, right?
I mean, you're right, Brownie. They had to get rid of John Dutton.
That's Kevin Costner, right? So everybody knew he was out.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, him and Taylor Sheridan have gotten what we call odds.
So I'm hoping this was just the bridge episode, and everything else is going to be a good ending to it. They're going to wrap this all up. They had to throw this in there just to get him out.
Yeah.
But it was a horrible scene.
Jim, I've never seen a more unanimous television take than what I saw last night all over my timeline that Yellowstone was hated last night.
It was. I'm not even watching it.
But it was really bad.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
Oh, it was. Melton's right. It was everywhere. People were destroying it last night on social media.
So
I didn't see one person be like, "I like it."
Do you always watch Yellowstone? Are you caught up?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But this is the one that airs on CBS now, right?
I
or
watched
was it just dropped on Paramount?
I watched it on Paramount first, and it airs wherever it airs over the air and on CBS in a
cleaned up.
Do they clean it up? Like ESPN doesn't clean anything up anymore.
No, my gosh.
What?
Saturday, I mean, McAfee would not stop getting them to do the neck cheer on live TV.
How uncomfortable was Brian Kelly?
Oh, yeah. No, he was.
Yeah.
And Saban's dropped a couple S-bombs on there. McAfee dropped an F-bomb on game day a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean, ESPN's just moving past it, which is so kind of against what they've always done.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't mind it. Okay, so I'm sure you guys have probably seen the trailer for Wicked. Ariana Grande is one of the witches.
Saw that last night, too.
The packaging for Mattel's Wicked dolls mistakenly lists the URL of an adult entertainment site instead of the official domain for the film. Now, Wicked, the new theatrical adaptation of the hit Broadway musical, is set to open theaters November 22nd. However, merchandise for the film, starring Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo as the witches Glinda and Elphaba. Is it Elphaba?
Elphaba.
Is already on sale, and some fans have spotted a major error on the packaging for Mattel's dolls for the film. Now, the back of the Mattel's dolls packaging lists the website wicked.com. The issue, that domain belongs to an adult entertainment site, not the film's official website, which is actually wickedmovie.com. Now, they have pulled all these from circulation.
I would hope so.
Oh, wow, yeah.
That's bad. Wicked.com probably was one that before somebody printed it on, they're like, let's double check this URL.
Yeah.
That Ariana doll
does not look like Ariana.
It looks like somebody we know. I'll tell you, break.
I just made the mistake of going to hippos.com. Not something I'd recommend.
Oh, really? Is it worse you think than Wicked?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I went to wicked.com, and apparently they've got sharks swimming around in water. Oh, wait, that's not a shark.
Hippos.com. So a Miami man arrested Wednesday after he allegedly stabbed his brother in the neck for, quote, talking over the food while he was cooking. Alexander Rodriguez, 20, stabbed his brother with a kitchen knife at their Miami home. After the two got into an argument, the brother took off to the bedroom as Rodriguez followed behind, slicing his arm and face. When police and fire rescue arrived at the home, the brother was covering his stab wounds with clothing. According to officials, he was taken to a nearby hospital in stable condition. Rodriguez fled from the home and was found hiding in a nearby tree. After police set up a perimeter, he was then taken into custody. When detectives interviewed Rodriguez, he told them that he had got irritated when his brother was, quote, talking over the food. He added that he thought his brother was going for the knife because of the, quote, attitude his brother had.
The great thing is the paramedic asked, do you want me to put the drum in the back seat or the front seat before we march you down towards the hospital?
Actually, it looks kind of like a diaper on his head. I guess it's just gauze.
Really bad.
Yeah.
That's a lot of gauze. I mean,
He's got the Anthony Davis going, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. Don't forget that razor occasion.
The first art piece painted by a humanoid robot was expected to fetch up to $180,000. It shocked the crowd when it sold for a whopping almost $1.1 million.
Which one was painted by the robot? Both?
I believe both.
Okay.
I believe it was like a series of multiple paintings.
Yeah.
But these are
Awful.
portraits
I'm sorry.
of the mathematician Alan Turing.
Boy, he was an ugly cat.
Sounded the alarm on AI back in the 50s.
Yeah, I mean, look, art in the eye of the beholder. I think this is really interesting, and I think it's probably $1 million. Sounds like a lot, but probably once robots really get as part of the society, this thing's going to be worth a lot more money than $1 million.
You got to wait till the robot dies, and then the value is going to go way up.
You know where I would put these? I'd put these 2 paintings in the dumpster out back. Those are awful. I don't know why anybody would.
Not in the future. You're going to want the bargain with the robots and say, "Look, I've been a big fan all the time."
Yeah,
that was hilarious on Saturday Night Live. I don't watch the shows.
I like the one.
I don't watch the shows. I just see them all on my social media feed. And they did a 5-minute skit on after the election on Tuesday. People have talked about the newly elected President Trump coming after people that were against him. We just want you to know, and they had every actor up there, that we've been for you since the beginning.
That's right. It was pretty funny. It was well done.
They just went down the line of saying nice things about the president and bringing out the guy who plays the president in their skits, and he was all buff and cut up. We finally got your body right, too, and he comes out all cut up and muscular.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. I'll give him credit for that.
Yeah, that's our trash today.
So you like those too?
I like the one on her right, our left better.
The one where the eye's all screwed up?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's artistic, Brown.
Would you put that in your house?
I mean, if I could find a theme to go with it. I am starting to do a lot more, just black and whites around the house. So I probably could figure it out.
Yeah. So you see, to me, Brown, the holes in the skull there, sometimes you let your brain do your thinking for you, but if you just have a big eye, you look and only believe what you see and get your brain out of the process there, sometimes your life will be a lot more enjoyable.
Yeah, I'm going to pass. I'm not a big art guy. I don't really care.
Yep. No lips either.
I noticed that. Yep.
Yeah. Trash brought to you by Mortgage Right. We appreciate them so much.
AI there, she's got some lips.
She does. Oh,
she
needs
AI?
to put
arms, though. Well, she needs to put some sleeves on.
Oh, I guess I didn't notice that.
Yeah, it's a robot powered by AI.
Oh, so she's the one that painted it.
Yes.
So she's the robot that painted
was
it.
the whole story.
Yeah, Tyler, I missed that part of it, but thank you. Yes.
Yeah. If you have any questions,
on the paintings, Tyler,
mortgage related, no cost or obligation, you can check with the mortgage experts, which is our friends at Mortgage Right. Mortgage is done right, the right way. 205-900-7200 or mortgageright.com.
You know who Tyler just felt like right there? Jennifer Brown. She has to do that all the time, Tyler. So you're not alone. My wife does that to me all the time.
Give me cut 7 and 8 quickly if we can, Tyler. Before that, though, tonight, Monday Night Football, it's Dolphins and Rams. Lance likely will have a play at lanceslock.com, and just because he has that jersey on doesn't mean he always plays the Rams. He's very honest with you there. Lanceslock.com, brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill.
Yeah, by the way, 12-4 and football over the weekend. That's a quick 75% clip for you guys.
Very nice.
So these Saturdays have been incredible. 7-2. It really felt like North Texas decided not to dress a punter. It looked like this weekend they went for every fourth down possible, but a couple of bad turnovers from Chandler Morris, and then Oklahoma gets backdoored late. We end up going 7-2, but a nice 12-4, and we do have the side up tonight with the Dolphins and the Rams. You can get it all in lanceslock.com. College hoops, NBA. It's always brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill Services, 205-229-2090. Whether you experience plumbing and heating or cooling issues in your home or business, trust the name Birmingham has trusted since 1954. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there, 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
We'll hear from Kalen DeBoer coming up at the top of the hour with his news conference, and then Hugh Freeze. We'll play that for you. We just saw something from Hugh Freeze. He talked about the quarterback situation, but really hasn't changed his comments on that, Brown.
No, he's dancing around. He did say that Peyton Thorne, again, who I'll point out, previously scheduled not to be with us tomorrow in the offseason, so he will not be on the show tomorrow, was injured and did not practice last week. Shoulder injury against Vandy, did not practice last week, but beyond that, Hugh Freeze non-committal about what that will mean at the quarterback spot.
Yeah, so that is something to keep an eye on when we hear from Hugh Freeze coming up, but as the week progresses, as they get ready for Louisiana Monroe down at Jordan-Hare this week. And we'll hear from Kalen DeBoer. By the way, he told me to tell you guys hi.
Oh,
so
Coach
I saw him
did?
on the field after he finished the coach's show. He's walking off. He was very nice, walked over and said hi to me, and told me to tell you guys he said hi.
Well, tell Coach I said what's up, man.
Yeah. Did Aaron Jordan ever text you?
No. Was he supposed to send me something?
Yeah.
Okay, I want to hear that.
Yeah, really interesting. Kirby Smart, after the loss in Oxford, gives credit to Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin, and then has some other thoughts.
We obviously struggled in a lot of areas. We had miscues, mistakes, penalties, things that are really hard to overcome, especially when you play a really good football team, and they are. I told our team coming into this week, I felt like they were probably the most talented team that we had played, counting both sides of the ball and special teams. They have elite specialists, and they have really good players on defense and the skill positions on offense. So give their quarterback credit. He made a lot of really good throws, and their defense affected us with the pass rush. So a lot of credit goes to Lane and his staff. Look, they really should be undefeated. I know people think that's not true, but they really controlled the game against LSU the whole game and lost it. And they're playing good football, and they outplayed us tonight, outcoached us, and did a great job.
Now, Dart coming back from that injury and playing with pain, it'll be interesting to see. But they got a bye, right? So he can rest up.
Yep, they've got a bye.
Yeah, if he had to turn around and play another big game this weekend.
Or if he had Georgia's situation where he's got to play Tennessee, that'd be tough. Yeah,
that would be tough.
Georgia's just got so – they have got to be so exceptional at quarterback the way their offense is right now because they don't have great receivers. They don't have the tight end that they've had, and their offensive line is no good.
But see, that's just it. He was able to be a really elite quarterback manager. Stetson Bennett was able to be a quarterback manager those years, and you don't have to make the plays. Beck's having to make plays. You don't have an elite tight end that you've got to bracket two guys on. You don't have a McConkey who's out there running route beaters all the time. You don't have any elite play. EDN only touched the ball 6 times.
But here's what didn't make any sense. Like when Ratledge was out, you understood the offensive line get really shaken up because that is your best offensive lineman. But when you look at the offensive line and watching them again on Saturday, they are massive. And how they are playing so much more down than they have over the last couple of years. I mean, 59 yards rushing, less than 2 yards a carry, gave up 5 sacks.
Yeah. Now, Kirby, though, is painting a picture like you have all year, Lance, that this is just the NFL now. Here's Kirby Smart after the game.
It's on to the next. I mean, welcome to the SEC, baby. I mean, I said when the season started that it was going to be the toughest schedule we've ever had in the SEC with the addition of the Texas game on top of all the others we had to play. And it's extremely tough. It's difficult. I mean, the outlook of going to those 4 road games, the Kentucky, the Texas, the Alabama, and this one, we knew it was going to be really tough. And as you go through the season, you get injuries. I mean, they got injuries too. Everybody's got injuries. It just makes it tough, and it's tough. But you know what? Our future's in front of us. We got a big game next week. We got to go out and we got to find a way to execute at a higher level.
How many coaches have you heard say the future's in front of us after a loss this year because
all of them
because of the 12-team playoff?
Yeah.
But to his point, 4 teams in the top 25 they have played. That's in the top 25 right now, and none of them were at home. The win at Texas, the loss at Ole Miss, loss at Alabama, and Clemson was neutral site, which was a big, big win for them, and still looks good today. That Kentucky road game, barely won that game. It's by far their toughest schedule.
So fan bases are delusional, but if you went through SEC fan bases and they were being truthful, how many of these ultimately 10-2 teams do you believe the fan base would say we can win a national championship? I think Georgia fans right now are like, I don't think we can.
I don't think they have any faith in Beck. And I knew when I saw it happen live at the end of the game, I knew that Beck was going to regret that the camera caught him doing this. But he's sitting on the bench with Jaden Rashada, and Rashada says something to him, and Beck laughs.
Yep.
As they're down 18 points in Oxford or whatever it was. And apparently Georgia fans have gotten pissed about that because of the way Beck has played, especially away from Athens.
Not as bad as the kid, probably just a walk-on, but leaving the field, and he's jumping up and down with a couple of the Ole Miss fans.
Oh, Kirby's addressed it today.
What did he say?
He called him an idiot and said it was stupid and said he's apologizing and all that. I mean, there's just these little things, and it just feels like, I mean, Georgia's they're not a national championship team. I don't think anybody watches any part of Georgia and thinks they're a national championship team.
But a lot of people up here think that they can beat Tennessee this weekend at home, right?
Well, and I was going to say this about Tennessee. Tennessee's defense has yet, through 9 games, to give up 20-plus points, which is insane when you think about almost a full season in college football and today's college football. But I don't think Tennessee fans are looking. Nico left the game at halftime.
He's going to be okay, according to Heupel's very optimistic about him.
And I thought he played better.
Should be good to go, according to Heupel.
But, I mean, the thing that worries me, if I'm a Georgia fan, is Tennessee's front can do a lot of things that Ole Miss's front did, and Georgia couldn't block Ole Miss's front.
Yeah, but if I'm Kirby, it's all about stopping Dylan Sampson. Nico, you got to beat us.
Yeah, make the quarterback beat you. That's the show today. We'll get quickly in to overtime in Kalen DeBoer's news conference over in Tuscaloosa, and then we'll hear from Hugh Freeze. Don't forget Monday Night Football, Dolphins and Rams. One of these guys will be happy tomorrow, and the other one will be
me.
Brown, he says. I have a feeling Lance thinks his team loses, so we'll see when it all happens tomorrow on the show. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America. All right, our overtime now brought to you by our friends at Roback, Roback.com. Promo code TNR20. Brownie, none of us have Roback on today, but a good chance I'll wear it tomorrow. Wore it at the game on Saturday in Baton Rouge.
I had some on yesterday as well. Roback is great with those quarter zips that I love this time of year, the great golf shirts that I love any time of year, the hoodies, all of that right there at Roback.com. Gift giving season is coming up. Give the gift of Roback this holiday season. Roback.com, and we're going to help you save. Code TNR20. Code TNR20 at Roback.com. That helps you save there, and it's a great idea for gift-giving season, so make sure you head over to Roback.com and use code TNR20.
All right. Good to see Coach DeBoer. We didn't get to it in the show. Maybe we'll get to it tomorrow. Fortunately, I had it ready to go for me, but Chris Stewart had the great line, and Stipe had the music ready to go.
Oh, I saw it. Yeah,
it was really good. I can't even recreate it right now.
I can, but I'd rather let Chris do it. But just remember to bring it back tomorrow. I know what he said.
We'll bring it back tomorrow. But you guys have seen it. I've tweeted it out. Take down the fiddle, take down your bow. They barely could beat Saban. Yeah. Now they can't beat DeBoer or something like that. It was really, really a good time. But Coach DeBoer and the Alabama folks very happy afterwards. Let's listen in to Kalen DeBoer's news conference coming off that massive win down in Baton Rouge.
I'll have Coach DeBoer begin with his opening statement, and then we'll take questions. So whenever you're ready.
Yeah, you bet. Good morning. And just with it being Veterans Day, I just do want to say a quick thank you to those that have served, those that continue to serve, give us the freedoms that we have. So appreciate all the veterans. And then I think the next thing, just with injuries, I think Kane maybe alluded to it, but with Q's injury, certainly determined now that he'll be out for the remainder of the year. Unfortunately, just a special person in every way. You hate to see a guy who pours so much into it, go through what he's going through. And he just, the one thing when I think about Q, it's not just what he does on the field, but pre-practice, he is mentoring, doing things for other guys. And it's just, he cares so much about the team. He cares so much about just this place. And that's just something that sticks out on top of what you see on game days. And so just a great person. He's poured a lot into this place. And then just, I think, recapping LSU, just proud of the way the guys prepared, proud of the way that they started, the confidence that they showed early on, led to the production, led to us playing our most complete game, offense, defense, special teams, always areas that we can continue to improve. Probably the biggest thing that I saw is just our kickoff team, which has been rock solid on top of it all season long, one of the best in the country. I put them up against anyone, just having some times where we lapsed there, and a couple new looks that we needed to adjust better and quickly to. So just that was one area where we need to be better. But moving forward to Mercer, extremely high quality football team, and us handling success coming off of a game or games that we've had here. It's important for us to do the right things as far as knowing no points carry over from last week. Nothing as far as our stops carry over. We've got a team that's coming in 9-1, very confident team, pretty much lead their league in but most statistical categories on both sides of the ball. And so just, want to make sure we continue to do what we've been doing to take the steps in moving forward as a football program.
Thanks, Coach. Let's start with Charlie here on the right.
Yeah, Coach Kane kind of alluded to it, but Keanu Coote wasn't with you guys last week, and he kind of said he wouldn't be here this week. Do you have an update just where his status stands?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he wasn't with us, and he's suspended right now, and so not going to get into length or anything like that, but he won't be with us this weekend.
Nick, on the right.
Yeah, Kalen, what types of, pre-snap adjustments did you guys make from previous road games for this game, specifically with making sure that clean snap, timing is right, making sure noise didn't affect things?
We did a little bit with just the procedure, a little bit of adjustment on just communication there. But it's stuff that it's just, we had done it that way. We've done it both ways, different places I've been. Feel good about both procedures. We just did adjust and tweak it just a small amount. I think probably as much as anything, it's the number of reps we got, and just this being the second time really after the Tennessee game, and then also having a bye week and just really honing in on it and be dialed, and helps when you make plays too, and there was less plays where we had as much noise, and so the percentages were more in our favor as far as just the execution piece. But our guys just did a better job handling it from start to finish.
Go to far left to Chase.
So if this comparison is a reach, then feel free to shoot it down. But 2 years ago, your first season at Washington, you won a huge game against Oregon. It was a November road game, just like LSU. You had 2 losses at the time, just like LSU. Mm-hmm. You win that game, and you hit the streak where you don't lose again until the CFP this past January. Was that Oregon game a catalyst for the culture you were trying to build there? And can this LSU win be similar that way?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so our experiences that we have individually, right, we always remember them and the learning moments that you go through. For our team, they weren't through that. But for me, just, you do take in those times, whether it's that season or 10 years ago. There's just things you go through that were part of the process then, that you try to remember and try to figure out what worked and what didn't, to keep the team moving in the right direction. And honestly, it's really simple. You got momentum to build off of. You make sure you take advantage of it, and then you also continue to just keep the pedal down, keep focused on what you believe in. And we've been doing that, and we were doing that then that year, and we're doing that now. Just stay in the course, and just because all of a sudden, you kind of feel like you get over a hump doesn't mean, you can just let off, because it's about the next play. The next one's the most important one, and that's good. That's been our focus really since day one. It's just that now the execution, the number of reps, all of those things are helping us execute better. And so, questions probably, Nick was just up here. How were we able to, be more productive? Well, our execution is better. We weren't behind the chains, and so the playbook's more available to you. It's a lot easier to call plays, and so just all those things, those experiences that you're referring to, yeah, I'm certainly aware of those, and it feels a lot like that. But it doesn't guarantee, right? It doesn't guarantee us anything. We got to keep moving forward, build on the momentum that we have right now at this point in the year.
Staying on the left side, let's go to Tony.
What development have you seen from the backup quarterbacks in your unit, Ty and Dylan and Austin, this season working behind Jalen?
Yeah, good question. Because you don't see them. We get to see them, and this is what I'll tell you, that the work that they are putting in, there's guys throwing on, I guess yesterday would have been Sunday, right? Because I can envision walking outside for a second and seeing, one of the guys out there throwing at 9 a.m. in the morning, doing his thing, and others just really paying attention in the meetings and coming up and meeting individually with Mitch Dowling, with our offensive staff, Coach Sheridan, myself, just a lot of opportunities that they're all taking advantage of to help their growth. And then they get on the football field. You see familiarity with the offense, especially those, Austin had a little bit more familiarity, but then you also see growth in fundamental things. Guys that are helping out with scout team. I know last week I talked about Austin being heavily involved in the scout team. You see the throws, the accuracy of the throws. You just, taking advantage of every rep, and these guys are doing that. And this season isn't just something that's about Jalen and like, oh, I hope I get my time. They're pressing forward and using the resources we have, and then also putting forth the effort improve anytime that they can.
Go to the middle of the room to Emily Grace.
Coach, you mentioned in the open that it's important how success is handled. At this point in the season, what is your standard for how that success is handled with your players, but also your staff?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be the same no matter what time of the year. It's all about the next play, the next play, and then obviously for us now, the next game. We talked about handling success before. We've won games earlier in the season and talked about handling success, and I still felt like the effort and everything poured into the right things was happening then too. But I also think that now we've been tested, we've been through adversity. We're a little more, we've been through the battles together, and I think we understand better who we are, but we also understand better, what we can do. And we're honing in on what our strengths are. We've continued to really focus on the weaknesses and areas that people maybe perceive as ways to get after us on both sides of the ball. And so, I think that's the whole key, is handling success is one thing, but our just continual development and growth and improvement, that's a big deal for us right now. And that's what's happened over the last 3 or 4 weeks, is that's finally coming to fruition. You can see it in practice, and unfortunately there's been times where you don't see it in a game. Now you saw it in a game in a lot of different ways.
Back right, Ryan.
Coach, some of the reporters here covered Coach Saban in the past, and the players had Coach Saban as their coach. How do you handle a success like that? The social media, everyone's saying Alabama's back after a must-win game, and kind of telling them to stay the course, kind of like what Emily Grace was saying.
Yeah, I think we've I don't want to say we learned a lesson, but we understand that doesn't matter, right? And we understand that it's all about building on what we did do last week, because it was significant, just like we would learn from the areas that we're falling short on a game we've lost. But it's all about just staying with the process, staying with the preparation. I want the guys to keep an edge, because I think there is a little bit of an edge, a little bit of a, I don't want to say chip on their shoulder. I think edge is the better word to use that we have. A little bit of, backs to the wall, kind of fighting for your life at times that I think exists. And I think every guy has a little different way of where they're driven to go out there and put forth the best effort in practice, bring the best energy that they have. What I've really challenged the guys with is to have more and more leaders stepping up. I think I've said that in here a few weeks back, is that our young guys aren't young guys anymore. Our transfers, they're not transfers anymore. We are a full team, and we need every guy, because there's starters that now, we just referred to Q. There's starters that aren't with us, aren't able to be on the football field due to injury. More and more guys got to step up, yes, on Saturdays, but more and more just need to step up as leaders. And the more leaders we can have that, first of all, take care of their business and bring then others that can bring the rest of the team with them. There's a lot of influence on our football team in a good way, and you can see it and feel it on the practice field, and that's where it all starts.
Go to Kennington in the front row here.
Kind of on that note, how did Devontae Smith come out of Saturday, and what did you see from Deshaun Jones filling in to his place?
Good question. With Deshaun, he's been just right there, ready to go. We've moved him around a little bit with positions, just because he's a very versatile player, and he's got game experience. With his past and coming in, just kind of learning things and being ready to go. I'm really proud of him for that. So I'm excited about his growth that he's had, and the opportunities he's taken advantage of, like he did on Saturday. With Devontae, that would be something I think just throughout the week we'll continue to manage and kind of see where he's at. I haven't heard the update today, but I think he'll be fine as the week continues on.
Opposite side here. Let's go to Colin.
Hey, Kalen, kind of going off of a couple questions, but I mean, LSU isn't traditionally a game where you get to see kind of younger players, second string. The game had been decided at that point, but to have guys like Richard Young or Ty or guys that usually may not get to experience, Tiger Stadium until they have to, until the job is theirs. What was it like to, I guess, see those guys in those roles, those younger guys, both on offense and defense, kind of be able to go up to that?
Yeah, you're happy for them because they work extremely hard. Those guys, as we said, quarterbacks are working extra, putting extra time in. Getting our running backs, you alluded to with Rich, getting out there on the football field. All these guys that work extremely hard, getting a chance to go out there, be rewarded. That's what it's all about. And we're a team, and it's not just the 11 guys that are out there starting on each side of the ball. So I'm happy for them, and glad that we executed well enough to where we were in that spot to where those guys get a chance to go out and perform. And when they get their moment, they're taking advantage of it. They've done it a number of times throughout the year.
We've got time for a couple more questions, starting with Jack here.
Hey, Kalen, you talk about leadership. Obviously, Tyler Booker's gotten a lot of praise in that regard. How big has he been? And when you think back to when you first arrived, how big was he at that time just to have some stabilization with the players as you kind of got settled in?
Yeah, there's been a number of leaders on our team that have really, since day one, been critical for us. And the questions about Book, I can't give him enough praise. And I can say this because I know he handles it, and he can handle it well, and it's not something that goes to his head. He is so passionate about this place. He's so passionate about being the best he can be. He's got a resiliency, I think, and just, that has helped us as a team also have that, level of response to adversity that's been positive. He just keeps pushing. He's got respect amongst his teammates at the highest level. From a leadership standpoint, he's vocal, but obviously leads by example all at the same time. And the combination, he might be one of the best leaders I've ever been around. And so I know that's saying a lot because I've been around a lot of really good ones. And, when you put those guys in that category, he's really special. And it's because he takes care of his business, 100% of the time. And he's pushing others to make sure that they're their best too. And I think that's what great leaders do, is they bring the best out of everyone else around them.
All right, we'll finish up here on the back row.
You've now had a blowout and a shutout over ranked opponents. What does that mean in terms of making a statement?
Yeah, I like the progress we've had, and every week's a new challenge in different ways. Last week, with the passing game and kind of the way that we felt we knew they would attack us, rising to the challenge, was big. And the shutout the week before happened as a combination of stopping both the run and the pass, different quarterbacks in and out. But that's progress. Like, there's steps forward. There's confidence that continues to build, a trust that happens between the front and the back halves. I really like the demeanor that they bring, and it all starts with what their demeanor is going to be tomorrow morning, Tuesday, when we step on the football field. That's really the demeanor that you want and that we've had, that needs to continue for us to do the same thing this Saturday that we did last Saturday. And so, again, when that mindset's where it needs to be and the work's done each and every day, that trust, that belief, it just continues to build. And you can see that with our defense.
All right, thank you, Phil.
Thank you. Roll Tide.
All right, that's the Kalen DeBoer news conference today over in Tuscaloosa, brought to you by our friends at Roback, roback.com. Promo code TNR20 gets you 20% off that initial order. The big story, of course, is the Q Robinson injury. Kane Womack, before Kalen DeBoer confirming, and then Kalen also saying that Q Robinson done for the year. He is tied with Jihad Campbell as the sack leader for Alabama. Rousseau is one of the guys that will come in at that wolf position now and try to fill the hole. But that was a big fifth-year guy who knew what he was doing on the field and had been a big part of that Alabama defense. Q Robinson, according to the coaches, done for the season. Down at Auburn, the conversation coming out of the bye week now is about, will Hugh Freeze down the stretch stick with Peyton Thorne, who's a little banged up, or will he go younger? That's part of the conversation now as we listen in to Coach Freeze.
It's been a good open week, and now it's time to get back to try to improve and get back in Jordan-Hare and try to get us a win. And our kids continue to practice hard, and the staff's working hard, and I'm really proud of just them sticking to it. And obviously, in what's been a disappointing year, the good ones, man, they fight, and really have been pleased for the most part with everyone in this building. And now we get another challenge at home against a much improved team. Coach Vincent's done a really nice job there in turning that program very, very fast. Outstanding running back. Is averaging over 100 yards a game. And they play extremely hard and got really good scheme. Played against them when they were the staff at UAB, and have respect for what they do and how they do it. So it's looking forward to being back in front of our home crowd. They continue to be very supportive, even in challenging times. We have the best fans. So it's Veterans Day today, and our military appreciation game is this weekend, and it's always an honor for us to be able to honor them, to have the lives we have here in America due to the sacrifice of many men and women on our behalf. Is we certainly want to join with many others in telling them thank you, and this is a small way we can do it, but certainly excited about being able to honor them this week.
Hugh, coming off the win against Kentucky and then bouncing back and hoping to build on that, but unable to do so against Vanderbilt, what was the response in the locker room to that?
Man, just same response as we've had. Just a lot of hurt, and you kind of, as a coach, this is the first season for me that's been quite like this, and you kind of lose words for it. When you feel like you're playing against good football teams and you're in the games, and man, you just get zero breaks, zero calls. You make the wrong call at the wrong time, or you don't make the play, or then give them credit too. They made plays, and that 9-minute drive was a dagger. Now, I think 3 or 4 penalties on that drive were certainly. And then a couple no calls that I thought should have been called that would have won our favor. And you're looking at a different thing. Really, heck, the second half we had 2 possessions, other than the one on the 1-inch line, and then the 2-minute drills. I mean, and that's all you had. And so that 9-minute drive was vital for them, and we assisted them in that. And that's what I mean when you're in these close games against good football teams and the margin of error is so small, we just can't seem to get out of our own way sometimes. And again, that is something we've got to get corrected as a staff and as a team.
Hugh, you'd mentioned on the teleconference, I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday last week, about looking at the situation at quarterback. Talk to me about where you're standing with that right now.
Well, I mean, Peyton's played solid. Now he was not able to practice last week with the shoulder, and we'll see how this week goes with that, and with the others getting the reps and kind of go from there. But when I say that, it's certainly not an indication that I don't think he has played pretty solid here as of late. So, but you start kind of thinking big picture, and that's not always the easiest thing to do, because you love your players and you want what's best for all of them. That gives us the best chance to win the remaining 3 games, and obviously we'll start seeing how the health is first and foremost.
Yes, you just more on the quarterbacks. Did that with Peyton out? Did you give Walker any more reps than usual? How did you sort of divide up the reps during practice?
Yeah, the second open week, we actually got the threes or the other guys quite a bit of reps, and in the 3 practices we had, and then we had a little scrimmage to close out it. offense versus defense, other guys that don't typically get reps, and offense won that scrimmage on a pass play from Walker to one of the young receivers, and so it was good to see them get reps. We got to Holden and Hank quite a few also.
Hugh, just what other spots? I mean, obviously, off weeks are usually a time where you can kind of evaluate everything. Obviously, quarterback gets a lot of talk, but what other spots have you looked at guys and anybody that kind of caught your eye during this time off?
Well, it's you're pretty settled at most spots, and we don't have any more DBs to really try right now. And you really were trying to get. I thought Jarquez needed a break. So we got some of the younger guys some more reps there, Christian, and he had some good runs, and obviously Cobb and DeMar got their share also. But you really tried to get Jeremiah Wright some time off, and Tootal, and so it was really for some of them more rest. But we and then we got to see the younger old linemen like Dre and those other young linemen. Get some reps in there also, but Tyler Johnson got quite a few, which he needed, and defensively, we continue to rotate a bunch of people in the front and at linebackers, so it's really not a lot of people that are left that are going to be ready to play, for this go round, but we did get everybody a bunch of reps.
Just in general, I mean, how important are these next 3 weeks going to be when it comes to, I guess, restoring confidence from the fan base and also just building momentum from your coaching staff and your roster right now?
Yeah, I think it's vital that we compete, and that's the expectation, and certainly that's the goal, and give our chance to win these football games against good football teams that we have to play to help build momentum, as you say, and confidence in everybody that we're headed in the right direction regardless of the record. And then recruiting is big too, to trying to finish strong and continue to get the 25 class to understand we're not far off, and we need their help to come in and help us to continue this build.
Hugh, considering the offensive issues this season, can you just talk, not in depth, but briefly about how the play calling situation works between you and the two guys in the press box?
Yeah, it's a combination. Obviously the game plan is done by all of us, sitting in a room as to what we like on base downs and shot plays and third down and red zone, and so it's usually a mixture. Kent handles most of the third and longs, and Nix and I kind of combine on the rest of it, truthfully. And when you look at the yards per attempt and stuff, it's something that you kind of like. But the points are not coming, and it's we've been in there all morning just watching. And last week got to study a lot of other teams that are doing really well and are running the same stuff we're running, and are making plays. And we've got to, whether it's us adjusting our calls, limiting what we call, or so that our kids have confidence still at the receiver room. I think we're still young there in a lot of areas, and maybe asking a bit too much from time to time, so that they're not playing maybe as fast as they can play if they really had a great understanding of what we're doing. And so we're evaluating all of that, the calls, the number of things we're carrying, and trying to make sure that we can play fast and efficient the remaining 3 games.
Hey, Coach, with Brian Vincent and this ULM team coming in, he obviously took UAB to a bowl game. They didn't give him an opportunity to continue there. He kind of had a chip on his shoulder. He goes to Ole Monroe, and he's really turned that program around, has some buy-in from those guys. What have been the coaching points and the lessons you're going to tell this team this week about not taking this ULM team lightly?
Well, we don't take anyone lightly from a staff's perspective, and I hope that our team certainly won't. We should have learned enough lessons about that over the course of time here. So this is a good football team that plays really hard and has good scheme and good coaches and enough players that scare you. So I think it's 22 he's a really, really good player. And then defensively, always in the state of Louisiana, there's a bunch of athletes, always. And they've got their share on that team for sure. And Coach Vincent, again, I'm impressed with the job that he's done both when he was at UAB and now at ULM. So we can't overlook them for sure.
Hugh, we saw Alex not available again for this last game after making a return. How is he doing right now?
I haven't gotten the report from today. I don't know if we let him off Saturday and Sunday, so but it was still a struggle as of last Friday, and he could not practice. So I'm not quite sure exactly where that stands as of this week right now.
Well, to sort of carry on with that, how does that affect your situation with kickers? And does the problem that there have been with place kickers affect some of your decisions now on fourth down?
I think it has to. The momentum lost that we've had in, I can't go back in my mind to every game, but I vividly know the Vandy, Missouri game, not getting points when we've had good drives that should result in points are definitely momentum killers, and they really hurt. And who knows what happens instead of having to kick off and hopefully, Towns has been very good at kickoffs, and they start on the 25. They're getting the ball to 35 or the 30, and the field position game, whether they score or not, they flip the field on us again. And like a Vandy game, they flip it, and we're on that yard line. And those are the hidden things in a game that when we don't get the points after a really good drive, after starting the second half with a stop and then going down and have a chance to take the lead, who knows what happens from that point. And so it definitely has got to start factoring in, is this four down territory? And how early in the game is it four down territory?
You just talked about field position. You guys have been backed up a bunch. How difficult does that obviously make it as a play caller? And then does that make it more important to try to find some of those explosive plays because 14, 15 play drives are hard to come by.
Yeah, you're just not. All you're trying to do when you get it back there is, man, can we just get it out where we don't give them the ball in the plus 50? And that's not an easy task when you're backed up there. You worry about holding calls. If you're going to throw it, you worry about, what kind of run can we protect both edges to be sure we get it out. And it's just not an easy deal. And it certainly seems like we've had more than our share of the backed up opportunities. We've done okay some, and then some you haven't, and the field immediately gets flipped on you and usually results in points for the other team. So hopefully, we're through with our backed up experiences maybe, but some of it's been, us with a penalty on special teams. Others been, again, we miss a field goal and they get 2 first downs and they're able to hit their sky punts, and they've executed them very, very well against us, it seems. And, hopefully, though, we've had enough of those experiences that maybe they're through for the year. But it's no fun being a play caller at the 1 yard line.
You mentioned kind of evaluating the big picture at quarterback and where you guys go from there. Are there any other positions where, you guys are maybe starting to give some more reps to some younger players where I guess there aren't already young players?
No, I think we're already playing them all, for the most part. All the young kids that haven't redshirted, they're all they're playing in some form or facet, whether special teams or significant snaps.
Hugh, you've talked to us just so much about all the new challenges in this day and age of college football, where you have to do so much of recruiting your roster and managing that as the end of the season nears. When does that really start to ramp up to keep the guys here, plus you're recruiting elsewhere?
Yeah, it's already started. I mean, you're already actively having to, engage in conversations with recruiting your current roster, which is not much fun and not something that I know of any coach that's really for, but it is what it is. And so most of that is going through our personnel office and our Own to Victory team, and I'm thankful for them that I don't have to engage in most of those, because that would be that'd be very hard to do and difficult, because you want to have genuine, real relationships that are built on trust and communication, and that's more and more difficult to do if you're having to handle every single facet and aspect of today's game. So, I mean, obviously you're involved at some point. I'll have to be, but you're hoping that a lot of that can be handled by, our people that are involved in other areas outside of just the coaching.
All right, that is Hugh Freeze there wrapping up the news conference down there in Auburn today as they're coming off the bye week, getting ready for ULM. Roback.com, promo code TNR20, promo code TNR20. Get you that 20% off, perfect for the holiday season. Use that QR code on your screen there and take advantage of that. New AP basketball poll is out. Kansas is 1, Alabama 2, Auburn is 5. And the new KenPom, after Auburn's win over Houston, has Auburn 1, Houston 2. They flip-flopped. And Alabama coming in the KenPom at number 6. Basketball tonight, McNeese State, Will Wade's team, over in Tuscaloosa to play Alabama. Coming up in about 24 minutes, we'll go unlocked Brock Heward and Lance Taylor. I'm getting a no behind the screen?
Not today.
Not
There's
today.
a scheduling conflict.
Scheduling conflict. Okay. Scheduling conflict with that after so it's not happening today. So this ends our overtime. We're back with you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Central Time. We'll see you then.